Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa, and my poetry name is New Lily. If you're new, please check out the links located in the description box and the comment section. And in both locations, you'll find an identical set of links. Links that lead to videos that talk about what started my targeting in 2020, as well as links that lead to videos that share information about the tactics used on targets, the technology used on targets, and just info about the targeted individual program in general. All right, y'all. I was not planning to make another video anytime soon. You know, as you heard, you didn't hear this actually. I did attempt to make a video the other day about something that happened with someone in my close circle, because it was just like, to me it just felt like the situation was so outrageous that although I didn't plan to make another video for a while, I was like, nah, I gotta document this. And at work, I actually started documenting the situation, but I decided not to post the video. You know, things got better. The situation was resolved, and I was just like, let me not, just to avoid problems, let me not make a video, because then, and I took into consideration that this person is stressed out and, has different things going on. So I just totally eradicated the video. I deleted it, chose not to create that video. I said I wasn't going to make a video for a while. This was my intention. I didn't say this in a video to you guys, but this was my intention. There are several things going on right now that I don't want to sabotage, like self-sabotage. But that's the crazy thing about the targeted individual program. Some of the things you do might seem like self-sabotage, but it's really just the targeting. It's reactive abuse. And if you don't learn how to control your reactions in the targeting, then you can sabotage yourself, because you will receive retribution for some of these reactions that you have. And so I've already come to that realization, and I've gotten smarter and I've gotten wiser in this targeting. I've been targeted for 4 years, y'all, since 2020. And I learned I was a target 2 years ago in 2022. So I've had the cognizance, or I've had the knowledge, I've had the awareness to know that I've been targeted for 2 years, but I've been targeted for 4 years. I've been dealing with this thing for 4 years, and I now know how to function in this thing. I'm still human. I still have reactions, but I really, really, really have been trying to control my reactions. I've really been trying. There are moments where I lose the battle, and I say something off cap. That's as far as it's going to go. I'm never going to physically attack anyone, because they keep sending me nonsense. You know how they do with the shadow networking software. Those of you that are subscribed, you know what I'm talking about. Please don't start here if you're new to the channel, y'all. Please at least check out my story, and then some of the links in the description box talking about the technology utilized on targets. Learn what shadow networking is, because that's one of the main tactics they use to psychologically malign the target and to paint false narratives. And so those of you that have been subscribed and listening to my videos, you're well aware of what shadow networking is, because I talk about it in damn near every video. I talk about it so often because they're using it on me 24/7. Any technological device you utilize, they can use the shadow networking software to send things with subliminal messaging in it. And so this is why I'm constantly talking about it, because it's constantly being utilized on me. Listen to the gaslighting now. Now they have the noise campaign plane flying overhead. Listen. Okay, y'all. So that was the noise campaign plane. And if you've been targeted long enough, I'm sure by now you've realized that they use resources on targets to noise campaign us. They use fire trucks, they use ambulances, they use police cars, they use helicopters. I'm in the islands right now, y'all. So they don't use the helicopters on me, but they do use a small plane. And they do use a small plane in the mainland as well. In the mainland, they use all kinds of aircraft. You know, when I tried to relocate in 2022 from this island, the island that my targeting started on, and I tried to relocate to the mainland, I had some reactions to the thing following me, because I didn't know I was a target, and I wasn't aware of the fact that something could literally attach itself to you and follow you if you hadn't committed a crime. But that's apparently the case. And so I had these stupid reactions, not understanding how the thing worked yet. And that led to my targeting going viral. Those of you that have been following my story, you already know what took place. So I did experience targeting in the mainland before coming back to this island where my targeting started. And it was bonkers. Like the level of equipment and artillery, the level of equipment and artillery that they have in the mainland. It's just, it's completely out of sight, y'all. High science technology, this program. Y'all, let me pause and come back because there will be an interruption. There's going to be noise. So I'm going to stop and come back. Anyway, y'all, sorry, remember I told you on this new house that I moved to? It's not a new house. It's an old house. It was my grandparents' house. And actually, they owned it for many, many years, for decades. But the reason I say new house is because it's new to me as far as a living space goes. We moved here, as I told you on prior videos, last year, the middle of last year. And so we've been here for about a year, but I still refer to it as the new house. And that's what I mean, my new living space, even though it's not new. Anyway, so I've told you guys this before, that the room that I have is right next to the main porch. So literally I look through the window and the main porch is there. And so when anybody comes home or comes to the front door, there's noise. And so that's why I stopped the video and said I was going to come back. Somebody came home. So anyways, y'all, let me finish what I was saying though. So in the mainland, mind you, y'all, they're humming on me like crazy now. Now they done turned down the hum. They hate when I make these videos because I make sense and they know what I'm saying makes sense. They know what I'm saying makes sense. They know what they're doing is stupidness. And excuse me, y'all, that's just island slang, right? That just means nonsense, stupidness. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they're just doing it because they don't like me as a person at this point. It's like carrying on this punishment that's not deserved, and continuing to do it just because they can and they don't like me as a person. You know, I've already apologized for some of these reactions that I had due to the illegal targeting. I've been acting normal, right? I haven't been having the reactions, not the type of reactions I was having in the mainland. I learned my lesson. Sometimes I'll have a reaction with a specific gang stalker. You know, I've talked about this in prior videos. Let me scroll down to one of my recent reactive abuse videos. Y'all see that video that says more targeted individual, reactive abuse, and gang stalking? And the thumbnail says, you provoke her until she roars and then get upset at her for becoming the monster you created. That should be the slogan for the targeted individual program. Like, that's literally what it is. It's just straight reactive abuse and gaslighting. Like, you're constantly all day long dealing with heinous harassment, right? And intrusive behavior, because it's intrusive. Your privacy is being invaded. You have no privacy. So they have these little insect drones. That's a part of the technology that I share info about in the description box in the comment section. Something that I also have talked about in many of these videos, almost as much as I talk about the shadow networking. It's a high science program, y'all. You need to understand it's technology through and through. That's how this thing functions, this program. This is partially why I was looking at Africa so much, you know, because I was talking about in one of these recent videos how whenever I start looking at videos of Africa, they start revving by, you know, as if it's some sort of, you know, trying to paint this false narrative and attach it to some of the offensive propaganda I shared in my car in Florida. When really, the reason that I'm looking at Africa mainly is because they have a lot of areas that has low internet penetration. And so this program won't function effectively in an area like that. And I already saw another target do that. He moved to Papua New Guinea. They also have low internet penetration or saturation. And he said his life has become so much better, right? That was my goal, like trying to get out of this thing. I wanted to get out of it the legal way, where I tell my story, it makes sense, and they stop what they're doing because they know it's wrong. But it's just continuing. I've already apologized. I don't know what more they want. I don't know if they want a chunk of flesh, a toe, a foot. I don't really know what they want from me at this point. If I've already apologized, I've taken accountability for the offensive things I said in reaction to illegal targeting. You know, all of this started because I had reactions to illegal targeting. And the targeting started because I sent an innocent text 4 years ago. It's ludicrous. Anyway, So this is what it is, though. It's like just constantly all day long you're dealing with heinous harassment from different people, right? At this point, they all become the same. It blurs together. Like, you don't even, it's faceless at this point. It just becomes like a big blur, massive whatever, because everyone becomes the same when you're dealing with the same stuff everywhere you go. And again, not everyone gets involved, but there are so many people that are involved that it's just kind of like this inclusive mob like attack is what it feels like. And everywhere you go, you're dealing with the same heinous treatment. And it would be one thing if they just decided to, like, let's say, put the scarlet letter, the proverbial scarlet letter in your forehead and say, we don't fuck with that bitch. Excuse my language, right? But this is how some of them think, right? We don't fuck with that bitch. No problem. The kind of mind and mentality I have, I don't mind. I'm not trying to sound like a bitch, because then they paint it like I'm stuck up or I don't care or this or that. Like I'm supposed to be here boo-hooing and crying about what's happening. That's just not the personality I have. I've never been that kind of person. But okay, if you decide that you don't want to with that bitch and that's your feeling, I don't mind. My issue is the fact that my life is being impeded, is the fact that they have these cameras on me and they're given access to all these people, right? Everyone on island has access to these cameras so they can legally, illegally stalk me at any given moment. So I'm being stalked and harassed. I'm dealing with gang stalking. I'm dealing with impeding of my personal life. That's where the issue comes in. I don't mind if you don't fuck with this bitch. I don't mind. I'm not trying to sound horrible, but I really don't mind. That's just the kind of personality I have. My issue is the harassment, the illegal stalking, the impeding of my life. This is what I'm having the problem with, and this is why I'm still on the soapbox, and this is why the videos are still being created. That's what it's about. I don't care about the other stuff. I really don't. Anyway, so you have these reactions, though, because it's like all day long you're dealing with so many people invading your privacy, especially if you're someone like me, somebody that's introverted, somebody that's always been a private person, and you're dealing with this 24/7 eventually. Like I keep saying, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. One of these many gang stalkers will finally be the one to break the camel's back, proverbially, right? And so then you have this reaction, this nasty reaction with that specific person, and they'll pretend like they don't know your situation, like they don't know that you're being harassed all day long, and that this one person finally did it, and you had the nasty reaction. And then you get painted as a monster and everybody's glaring at you and they're villainizing you like they haven't been harassing you all day long. And you didn't just finally snap on this one person. And it's not even the kind of snap that I see some targets doing, because I got wise to this thing. And also with the personality I have, I'm not really the type that likes to fight. That's the funny thing. I can fight. I'm very strong. I'm an extremely strong woman. Physically. I'm not even just talking about mentally. Physically. I could fight. But I don't want to. I don't like fighting. I'm not a fighter. I am a fighter. I'm a survivor. I'm a warrior. But I'm not a fighter as in like getting in brawls in the street and tearing out. I wasn't even raised like that. This is not even how I was raised. But if I have to fight, I could really fight and do damage. I really could. Anyway, that's not what I do. When I have these reactions with the straw that proverbially breaks the camel's back, I'll start thinking nasty things about the person, because I know with the neuromonitoring technology, that's another form of technology that they're using on targets, y'all. They're microchipping innocent people and listening to their thoughts, and the thoughts are being projected to everybody around. That's a part of the torture, right? A major part of the torture. That's a relatively new part of my targeting. That literally started last year. I've been targeted since 2020, but the neuromonitoring didn't start until last year. Actually, I believe it started at the end of 2022, but I wasn't aware of it until, I want to say, like around June of last year, that they were actually, that I was microchipped and they could hear my thoughts and all this weird high science technology. The start of dystopia. But anyways, I'm not trying to say too much. I don't want to get in problems. I'm not trying to say stuff that's controversial, and this is really my life and this is the stuff I'm dealing with, but I'm not trying to say too much. Right? I'm just trying to, at this point, just document certain things that's happening. I'm not even going to document everything either, because again, I don't want retribution and I don't want things to get messed up for me. But I'm just talking about what I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, because it's crazy to me. And then they're doing stuff and then painting it like I'm doing the things they're doing. It's just crazy to me. Anyway, So yeah, that's what it is. I'll have these reactions sometimes with like that specific gang stalker that finally did the do and broke the camel's back. Proverbial, of course, this is figurative language, y'all. They're not breaking my back. I'm a very strong person. They're not breaking my back, physically or figuratively. But it is figurative language. I'm just using that phrase. You know, like, for instance, if you keep piling on and piling on and piling on stupidness on the same person all day long, eventually you might get a reaction, the reaction you're looking for. And so that's what happens sometimes. Like, it'll be a random gang stalker that does it for me. And I'll start, because I know my thoughts are being projected and they can all hear my thoughts, I'll start going in on the person. Because again, like I said in prior videos, I already realized that just like me, they're human and they bleed and they breathe just like I do and they feel just like I do. And they're just feeling some sort of, like, I don't know, courage, because it's like all these people ganging up against this one person. And so it's easy to feel courageous and like you can do all of these things because you feel like, oh, it's all of us against this one person. And you don't think the person's going to react and you don't think the person's going to go in on you. And I can look at you and isolate you and see that you don't have it going on. You're a hot mess, right? And not always. Not all of the gang stalkers are hot messes. I'm not going to lie. I guarantee you it doesn't matter what you look like, what you sound like, what you smell like. I guarantee you I can find something to diss you about. That's just how my mind works. I'm really good with words. I'm a writer. I can find something to diss you up about. But oftentimes, some of the gang stalkers going in on me are a hot mess. And I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but they're going in on me all day long and bullying me and being nasty and horrible. So I can be a bully too. Some of the gang stalkers are a hot ass mess that are going in on me. So it's so easy for me to isolate and go in on you when you're being a bully first. And so then I be a bully and I start going in on you, and then it's a problem. Then I'm the monster bitch that you created. This is just what happened in the bakery the other day. You know, I go in the bakery, I already had worked a long night shift. Y'all know I'm working the night shift right now. I'm doing security. That's what I'm doing at the moment, right? I'll have worked a long night shift. I'm exhausted, right? I'm pushing my body to the limit, right? I'm doing the security at night, and then during the daytime, I'm working out like a freaking Olympic athlete, right? This is how I'm keeping my body healthy with everything that's taking place and my mental healthy. Anyway, so I'm tired often. I'm really tired. And so they saw that I was tired. You know, I had stayed on work an extra hour. The guard that was coming on to relieve me needed an extra hour for whatever, some personal thing that was going on. They asked me to stay for an extra hour. So I was coming off of a 9-hour shift, which I'm not complaining about. I love the hours. I need the money. So I'm not complaining about that, but I'm just letting you know my state of mind and my exhaustion. Look how they're humming on me because they know what I'm saying is real. And this is the other thing. It's like when you're right, then they resort to using physical energy weapon attacks. It's ludicrous. Now they stopped. Anyway, so I coming off of this 9-hour shift, I'm already exhausted. It's just like residual buildup of just exhaustion. And so I had this person in my close circle that lends me her car at night. She asked me if I could stop at the bakery. Now, mind you, everyone around, again, has access to what's going on with me. So anybody that wants to stalk me at any given time, they know every location that I'm going to, unless I'm in a vehicle and I'm driving and I decide to not think where I'm going next, which I've learned to do. It's so weird how you have to alter your mind to function with this crazy program. But typically, if I'm out on the road and I have things to do, I'll purposely not think about the next stop. I'll just go to the next stop without thinking about it. So that way they can't, pre-plan gang stalking. But in moments like that where I'm at work, I'm getting off, and someone in my close circle says, hey, can you stop at the bakery? They all know now that I'm going to the bakery. So anybody that wants to pull up and gang stalk can do so. So I remember pulling up and I already saw some gang stalking activity in there. I saw this older lady, like she squeezed herself into this army fatigue dress. I already told y'all this is the new thing down here, right? Where they're wearing the army fatigue. First, it was the plaid. It was both, really. It was the plaid and the army fatigue, but it was mainly the plaid. And then a couple months ago, I made this mention about the army fatigue. I forgot what I said. I was talking about this guy that was wearing it, and how funny it was that he was wearing that while I saw the plaid on someone else. All of a sudden, that was the new style down here. Like, I'm making trends with this damn targeting. I'm starting trends down here. I'm making history down here with this damn targeting. It's just crazy to me. Ludicrous. Anyway, so now all of a sudden, all of the gang stalkers are more so wearing the army fatigue than they are the plaid. Now, mind you, I said this in the video that I made the other day. All of a sudden, I saw more people wearing plaid now. But it's still mainly the army fatigue. The retailers down here are capitalizing off of this damn program because they see so many people want to get involved in the damn bullshit and bacchanal, excuse me. And I don't blame them either. I'm not coming for them, because if you were a smart business person, you would do this, right? Capitalize off of something like this. It just makes sense. Everybody wants to, not everybody, but so many people want to buy and, be a part of this weird, crazy thing that's happening here on island. You can make some real coin. They're making some real money. As many people as I'm seeing wearing the strippiness, they're making some real money off of this damn targeting. I'm going into the damn stores. I'm seeing a bunch of army fatigue, and I'm seeing plaid and all this craziness. It's just like they are making real money off of this damn stupidness. It's crazy to me. Anyway, so I already saw this lady, because I'm going off on a tangent, squeezed into this little tight, just squeezed this older lady, like, I'm just like, what is this? She squeezed herself into this little faded army thing. I'm not going to go on as somebody old. When it's like, I want to say, like, if I can tell, I'm good at looking at people and telling their age. I want to say from the age range of like 57 and up, I try not to go in. I really do. Because I respect my elders. As many elderly gang stalkers as I be dealing with, because more of them are elder than not. I keep saying this, like a large chunk of the gang stalkers, I almost want to say like 60% are elderly. I try not to go in on the elderly because I do respect my elders. So I grip my teeth. I might just suck my teeth or just roll my eyes like, oh boy. And that's it. I don't say too much. I'm not going to isolate an elderly person and go in on them. But if you like 57 and down, I want to say 55 and down, you can get it. And so I already saw the stupidness in the bakery. I'm like, ugh. It's like, I'm tired. I don't want to have a bad reaction because I don't want to sabotage anything. I have, like I said, stuff going on. I'm trying to not have these reactions and mess things up for myself. I said, and I'm tired too. I said, let me just sit in this car and just wait a bit for whatever gang stalking is set up in there. Let me just sit here and wait a bit. Eventually you're going to see that I'm sitting here and I'm not in the mood, and they'll, hopefully just leave and let me go in and get whatever it is I need to get and bus off. Sat and I waited and I waited and I waited for a while. Then I got up. I said, okay, let me go in there. I saw a lot of people clear out. I went in there. It was still packed up, but not as bad as when I first pulled up. Soon as I get in the bakery, this guy obviously was staring at me on his phone, like a lot of them do. He's at the counter, mind you, but obviously was staring at me the whole time while I'm sitting in my vehicle, because remember, this is how it works with the insect drones, that they surveil you with 24/7. There's literally a live feed happening, and they're projecting this live feed, well, in my case, in my specific targeting, to everyone on the island that I live on. In some certain cases with targeting, it's not everyone in the vicinity. It might just be like, certain people that they hire on to gang stalk. It just depends on what your level of targeting is. I've come across many targets who are at the level that I'm at, where it's like everyone in the vicinity has access to the cameras. But then I've also come across targets where it's just like certain people, I guess, that they hired on to watch this target. It really just depends on who you pissed off. Your level of targeting has nothing to do with any crime you committed or any physical threat. And it has everything to do with piss off level. How many people you've pissed off. That's what it has to do with, y'all. And I've already said this before, there's actually a deeper agenda behind the whole thing. Basically, in layman's terms, or to put it in simple, long story short, they're trying to propel sorry, I heard noise in the background, that's why I started stammering. They're trying to propel the use of the technology, y'all. So the very gang stalkers that are gang stalking you are actually helping to propel the use of the technology that will likely be utilized on them as well in the near future. That's what it's about. And this is something I learned within the last 2 years, since I learned I was a target and I started doing research. So that's as far as I'm gonna take that. I'm not trying to go too deep into conspiracy. I'm not anti-government. I'm just talking about what I learned, right? The point is, I'm targeted. I'm one of the lab rats that they're using the technology on, right? And so this is what's going on. They're projecting this live feed of you to people around. And again, dependent on what level of target you are, will depend on how many people. In my specific targeting, unfortunately, it's everyone on the island that I live on. So it's like literally a reality TV show that I didn't sign up for. They're actually like trolling me with the shadow networking software and sending me stuff about reality TV shows and scripted reality TV shows versus unscripted. And this is literally like an unscripted reality TV show. So you have to know that this is the best type of reality TV show anyone could be on. Because how good is it, or how interesting would it be to observe somebody in their real life, unscripted, where it's all real. Everything that they're going through, play by play, and you get to watch. You understand how weird and crazy this thing is? Anyway, so let me get back to the point, y'all, though. So with the bakery thing, y'all, let me finish. I just don't like when I hear noise on the porch and stuff, so I just, give me a second, y'all. I'm going to stop the video and I'll start it back. Anyway, y'all, so with the bakery, back to that, because I keep going off on tangents, y'all, and I do apologize. So with the bakery thing, y'all, I was sitting in the vehicle, exhausted and just waiting for things to clear out. And when I felt like, a good while had passed, I came out and I walked in, and it was still kind of packed in there. Not as bad as when I had first pulled up, though. Soon as I come in, like I said, there was this guy that obviously was staring at me on his phone, like most people do at this point that live down here. Even if they're not a gang stalker, I'm certain they're staring at everything that's going on with me play by play too. I believe there are people that are even staying up at night to watch me while I'm at work doing security, because it's just that freaking entertaining for them. So anyways, because you have all kinds of people on the road at night. It's like they don't even sleep. I'm like, are you getting paid to do this? Because I'm sure half of them aren't. Anyway, so, there's this guy that was standing there in this like worn out sweater. As soon as I walk in, he turns around, he looks at me, and he has this kind of mischievous look in his eyes, like this is fun for him, like a real bully, right? And then he does this smirk, and then he rubs down his nose. This annoying thing, it irks me. And I'm mad that I revealed the fact that it irks me, because anything that I say irks me, they try to do more to get reactions out of me. That's one of the things that just irks me. Like, I will go in on somebody doing that. Like, that really irks the shit out of me. And I noticed after I had that reaction on that dude, that same dude I'm talking about right now in the bakery, when he did that, I noticed more people doing it. So they realized that the things that I don't like and that they can get a reaction out of, they should do more. This is how they feel to get, because it's like entertaining for them, these reactions that I have. And so I told myself, if I see anyone doing that thing with their nose again, I'm not going in on them. I'm not doing it. But it's just so irritating, because it's just like, it's multiple levels of bullying with the nose thing. They're doing it because, first of all, I have a runny nose. I've explained to you guys already, and I'm very confident within myself. That's also part of the problem, because I'm confident I'm not busting down with the things they're doing. It's angering them. And then they'll paint it like I'm a narcissist or I'm this cocky person, when it really is just a reaction to what they're doing. It's crazy to me. But anyways, regardless, I've talked about this in several videos. I have this consistent runny nose. I've had it since childhood. I believe it's a deformity. And I'm not just speaking off of like belief off of this, side of my neck. I went to an actual nose ear specialist when I was a child. I have 4 siblings. There's 5 of us in total, right? Allergies run in the family, nasal issues, etc. And not really like that. It was more so allergies that runs in the family rather than nasal issues. But I do have a sibling, a younger brother, that has a consistent runny nose like I do, right? So my mom thought it was the same issue that him and I were having. She took us to a nose ear specialist, doctor. The doctor dealt with him, right? Stuck the tube down the nose to check out what was going on inside, and discovered that he had polyps. With me, he tried to stick the tube in, and it was just like my nasal passage was so swollen and small that he couldn't even get the tube in. And so eventually he got it in and, did his inspection or whatever. And apparently from what he said, and I would like to get a second opinion. I'm not coming for that doctor, but it is always good to get a second opinion, especially when you're dealing with a rare situation. It's not a common thing. Allergies are common, but like this consistent runny nose, and it's clear snot too. It's not like an infection, like when you're sick and like yellow, green cold is coming out. It's literally like this clear. It's almost like when you have an allergy attack. The type of snot that comes out, but it's not as runny. It's more thick. It's disgusting, but I'm just so used to it at this point. It's just a part of my life now. But anyway, so he, eventually got the tube in my nose, and what he was saying is, with me, it's not polyps. He was saying that I have like extra tissue. Like, so he was saying that I have like extra cartilage and extra turbine material. You know, like the inside of your nostrils, they're called turbines. And then obviously the outside is made of cartilage. And so it seems to me like it's, from what he said, some sort of deformity. So it's not hereditary. Because like I said, my 4 siblings, we all have pug noses in this family, right? That's what we have. My mom has a pug nose. My dad has a straight nose. But my siblings and I, we all came out with pug noses. But my 4 siblings, they have like a small pug nose, and mine is more like this round kind of pug nose, and it's not super big. I've seen bigger noses. I've known many people that have had bigger noses than me, but some would consider my nose to be big, especially if you compared it to my siblings. And so I believe that's all a part of the problem. It's actually funny because my older sister used to tell me that too. She said, you know, I think your nose is like that because of the snot, you know. She said, I think the snot has something to do with how your nose is. That's what she used to tell me, you know. And so now, you know, thinking about it, that's kind of what the doctor was saying. I don't know about the outside of the nose, but I do believe there's extra tissue there as well. Like I said, the nose is, you know, like I said, I have a rounder, fuller pug nose than my siblings. And it's something I've grown accustomed to, and I've grown to love myself with it. I don't care. When I dress up, I look good, so I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. But at the same time, in this targeting, they're bullies. They try to paint it like I'm the bully, but everything that they're doing, they keep trying to project on me. Like even earlier, like they said, I see you out there shining and glowing up. And I was sitting there getting pissed off about it. And they started doing noise campaigns outside. I said, wait a minute, this is them. Like they're getting pissed when I'm going to work out. They're revving by, they're doing all these tactics. Anything productive I'm doing, they're getting pissed off. I'm like, what is the problem? I keep saying, what is the problem? They're making noise campaign in the back like that's me. I'm just like, what? You know, and then the bully thing, they keep sending me stuff about bullies when they're the biggest, they're bullying me like crazy in this targeting. Anyway, so not to go off on a tangent, I just had to say, it's just crazy to me. And then I wonder why I'm acting like this pompous, you know, pig-headed bitch. Like, it's because of the things you're doing, and it's actually low-key bigging up my self-esteem. They don't realize that because you're trying so hard to tear me down. And then with the shadow networking too, they keep then sending me stuff. I even took a screenshot of one of the things they sent me, that when people are trying to tear you down, it's because they really see the potential in you. They keep sending me stuff like that. You know, like trolling me. I'm like, I know that's what it is. You know, and then it's just like, if I act now cocky or pompous because you're going out of your way to tear me down, I'm not even doing the things I used to do. They would have been mad if they saw me prior to my targeting. I was out there being successful. I had multiple jobs. I had degrees. I have those things, but of course, you know how it is when you're targeted, right? I have all of these things going for myself, and I always have, and I'm not a boastful or show-off type person. Now I don't barely have anything going for myself at the moment. All I'm doing is working out and doing security at night, and even that is bothering them because I'm consistent with the workout. They're getting pissed after the gym today. They sent me a video with the shadow networking about caffeine. They're revving by for that, like the caffeine is making me stronger. You know, it's just crazy. I can't even begin to tell you the stuff they're doing. Anyway, so I'll get to that in a minute, though. Like, I'm not trying to be all over the place. Back to what I was saying about my nose, though, because I just want you to understand why the rub nose thing irks me so bad. It's multiple layers to the rubbing nose, and they're just being really nasty with that. So it has to do with the stuffy nose, right? So like I told you, I went to a doctor when I was younger and basically was told that I have extra cartilage and extra tissue. So that's what the doctor said was causing the excessive snot. So he told my mom that I would need surgery, basically to remove some of the tissue, and that would help with the issue. My mom gave me the option of whether or not I wanted the surgery, and I said no. I've always been natural. Like, even as a child, I knew I didn't want to get cut up. I knew I didn't want, medication. And I'm not anti the pharmaceutical industry. I want y'all to understand that. I'm not anti it, because I do realize that there are good purposes for medicine, and there are instances where medicine is needed. I understand that. But if you can, I'm the kind that would promote you healing yourself naturally. That's just how I am and how I always have been, and kind of the household I was raised up into. So that's just me and my mindset. So even with that, I didn't want to get cut open. Even at that age, I knew I didn't want to get cut, right? So I decided not to do the surgery. My brother did get the surgery. He had a different thing though. Like I said, this is what the doctor said anyway. Said he had polyps. He got the polyps removed. His nose still runs and is snotty. I don't think it's as snotty as mine. It's not like how, I don't even want to say that. It almost seems like it is, kind of. But I think the surgery helped him a little bit, but he still has the issue too. So I really don't know if it's really what that doctor said or if we should get a second opinion. I'm not sure. But it would make sense that it's extra tissue because of the way that my nose is. It does, that would make sense. That did kind of make sense to me at the time. Anyway, so that's why they're pinching their nose, because of the snotty nose thing. And I talk up in my nose sometimes. I do sound nasally when I speak sometimes. So that's one reason. The second reason, the false lie-ass narrative about me smelling bad. And the reason that they're doing that is because of something that I said about my roommate in my full story. And I wasn't saying that to be a bully, as they say. I was more so trying to compare a situation that took place with her versus something that happened to me directly after moving out from living with her at a call center about my breath. Where basically, and I told the story in my full story, I don't want to tell it again. I've always had an insecurity about BO. Not because I actually stink, but because I have the fear of stinking. You know, I just kind of grew up in that kind of household. I wouldn't say the people were scornful, but worse, it's like you need to be cognizant of your smell and your health and make sure you're smelling good and you're cleaning yourself good. My grandma was from Trinidad, you know, so she used to go in and like, that person's smelling fresh, you know, like this kind of accent she had. I'm like, make sure you're washing yourself good, you know, and telling you to use Dettol and things like that to make sure you're smelling good. So hygiene has always been like a center of focus in this family and a big deal. And that's just how island people are too. I won't say everyone. I've smelled some funky island people. But like a lot of island people are like that, where they're funny about how you cook and if you're cleaning the meat good and if you're cleaning your body good, etc. So I have those same values. And so for me, I've always had this fear of BO and like I need to make sure I'm smelling good. And, you know, somehow I always had the fear that my mouth could possibly stink because of the snotty nose. Because I've smelled people's breath before that are sick. Like, it's a common thing. It's a common known fact that oftentimes when a person has a cold, their mouth stinks. Like, it just causes cold stinks. And so it causes bad breath sometimes. And I've smelled some people that had a cold and the mouth was stinking. You know, and even people I've known, you know, that typically the breath ain't stinking and they had a cold and the breath was barking. And so for me, I just always had this fear that even though it's not like infectious cold that's coming out, it doesn't have a smell to it like when you have a cold, it's still mucus coming out of my nose all the time. I always just had this fear, like, what if it's causing bad breath? I've always had that fear. And so for me, it's just like I always move funny about it. And they used to tease me in high school. My friends and my sister and my cousin used to be like, my nickname is Reefy. Like, Reefy, your breath don't stink. Calm down, your breath don't stink. And so it was like this running joke with me about the fact that I was popping mints and brushing my teeth and washing all this extra stuff because I was fearful of having bad breath. So anyways, after moving out from this roommate who did have BO, and I don't want to go into the details about it because then they painted it like I was being a bully. And I was trying to explain that she was also going through stuff at the time when she was living with us. And even in high school, she had stuff going on, which I think led to her hygiene issues and whatever else was going on with her. So I wasn't saying it in a bullying manner, but still me mentioning that they painted that as me being a bully too, when I was really at the time trying to explain why I felt like something spiritual was taking place. Like I felt like it might have been witchcraft. And the only reason, again, that I thought so was because of the high science element to the targeting. I wasn't aware of the technology when I first made those videos in 2022, at the end of 2022. That was when I made my first video telling my story, and that video got deleted, and I remade the video last year. So the video you see up now was not the original video. Those of you that are new to the channel, you know, you don't know that, but those of you that have been subscribed and rocking with me since 2022, when I first started making videos, y'all saw that initial video that got deleted. And how some of those videos I created got deleted, I explained this to you all already. I had so many videos with me on camera, y'all. I had a computer, a laptop I was using. The laptop that I had from college somehow crashed and the screen blacked out. And, you know, at the time last year, I didn't have money. Now I have money. I keep saying I need to buy a new laptop and I keep putting it off. But I need to do that so I can start making these videos again and being on camera again. I like being on camera with you all. But I just been making these videos off camera. But last year, what I was doing was I was using this person in my close circle's computer. And that's how I had so many videos with me on camera. And she confiscated the computer because she didn't like the content that I was creating. And she deleted all of the videos with me on camera. And so that's why y'all don't have that initial video, that original video, with me on camera telling my story at the end of 2022. But anyways, so at that time I had just got back on island from the targeting following me and blowing up in the mainland. And I was just learning that I was a target. So I didn't know all of the things that I know now. And I didn't understand the high science element to the targeting and the type of technology they have, you know? So somebody that's not aware of the technology that they use on targets, a lot of what's taking place might seem spiritual. You know, it's just like, whoa, how is this happening? Like, it's not making sense. Like, how is it that every video that I click on has this stimuli in it, and I know I didn't do anything? What the heck? How is this happening? How are they watching me at everywhere that I go? And I'm using camera finders to find the cameras, and I can't find the cameras. You know, not knowing that it's insect drones. You know, it's like high science stuff. Or how are they hearing my thoughts? Not realizing that they can microchip you with an RFID chip, acronym for radio frequency identifier. And they send frequency and ping it from these cell towers to control the chip. And they also use satellites as well. You know, so there's a lot of high science technology. And if you're not aware of what's going on, it might seem like some sort of spiritual attack. And so that's what I thought at the time. And I thought something was going on. And, you know, I had already, prior to my targeting, dealt with a lot of weird situations. Literally, after moving out from that roommate, I want to say in my early 20s, around that time. And I'm not pinpointing her, blaming her. I'm just saying around the time when things got strange in my life, you know, from then to now, a lot of strange things have happened, but nothing as strange as the targeting. And so when the targeting was happening, I was certain that somebody had put witchcraft on me, and it could have possibly been this roommate or these girls we made friends with around that time too. And, you know, so I was just talking about it in my story. I never called the girl's name, never said who she was. What it is there's a lot of bias involved, because foolishly, I said what her nationality is. And I've offended that nationality because foolishly, again, I talked about some offensive stuff I said to this guy. It's the cyberbullying situation y'all have heard me talk about in my full story. And I took the receipt videos down, and, you know, I told y'all it was something they ran with on Island. But really, that's the main source of contention at the moment. One of the main sources of contention in my targeting is that occurrence, that thing that took place with that guy, and some of the things I said to him in reaction to things he said to me years ago. I talked about it in my story. I was just telling my full story, man, because they keep gaslighting me and sending me stuff about talking and not being quiet and revealing this and that, and, you know, all this stupid foolishness, trying to make me feel like, oh, it's the videos why things are so bad, when really and truly, for 2 years I was quiet. I've always been quiet, actually. For a whole decade I was quiet, you know, dealing with strange things, and I wasn't making videos and lambasting people's business and, you know, all the stuff that they try to falsely paint. You know, another false narrative. This is what they do. They're very good at what they do. Even after my targeting started at age 29, for 2 years I was down here dealing with the targeting. I didn't make videos. I quietly packed up my stuff. I had a good job. I was a teacher, and I was doing security at night. I resigned from both jobs because I knew I had it going on. Like, not in a cocky or in a cocky, you know how they are, like painting stuff, not in a narcissistic way. Not that I knew that I had it going on, but I knew that I had things going for myself. I had a good resume. I have a lot of experience. I have degrees, etc. And I had offers in the mainland. I showed y'all in one of those prior videos that there was a school in New York that was actually willing to put me in an apartment. I showed y'all that in one of the prior videos I recently made. I had several offers from different schools that I was in communication with. And then also, too, before I even came down here and before my targeting started, I had a job offer in Florida at a high school. Y'all, noise is starting on the porch again. So let me stop, and I'll start back in a minute. Anyways, like I was saying, even before I came down here, before my targeting started, in 2020, I had a job offer at a high school near to my university, actually, where I graduated from. And I chose to come home instead, and I regret it so bad. And it's not even like this thing, like I have an issue specifically with home, but the text message would have never been sent had I not come home. I shouldn't even have to really feel this kind of way, you know, about my home. Like, I have to leave my home. I was born and raised here, and I have Crucian blood in me. But at this point, with everything that's taking place down here, and also to the targeting started here, like, I bitterly regret coming home. I'm just like, I could have stayed up there, got that job, and all now it would have been good, man. I keep thinking about how good I would have been right now. But I try not to cry over spoiled milk. I'm not the crying type, but I mean, you know, figurative language. I try not to think about those things, because you go mad if you think about the what ifs. That's not the path I took, and so that's not what happened. Anyway, so that's the point, though. For 2 years, I was dealing with the targeting down here, from 2020 to 2022, and I actually resigned from 2 good jobs and left thinking that I could just start over anywhere, not realizing that this was something that would attach itself to me and follow me. And then I had the stupid reactions that I had. The thing blew up and went viral. I got retribution for reacting to abuse and illegal targeting. Came back home, finally decided to speak and make videos and tell my full story. I just told my whole life story and why I felt like it was something spiritual going on. Got retribution for that too. Got punishment for that too. And then it turned into this thing like she's always talking and, making it, about the videos. Like that's what's causing what's happening, when in all actuality, that's not what's causing it. This was an effect to this was a cause and effect situation. The cause was my targeting. The effect were the videos. Anyway, y'all. So that's why I don't let that gaslight it. I don't let that happen. Like them gaslight me like that, because that's not what's causing this. So anyway, that just, again, just something that they use to get pissed off about too. Anyway, y'all, so that's what it is though with the nosting, because I'm going off on a major tangent. So something I said about that roommate, and she just happens to be the same nationality as the cyberbullying guy that I talked about in my full story. And I even went as far as to talk about everything that happened with him and an offensive comment I made about that nationality almost a decade ago. It wasn't even that bad what I said. It was bad, and I took it back and I apologized, and it was really, again, just reactive abuse to some of the things the guy had sent me. But again, it was over a decade ago. It's not like something I said recently. And I explained why I said that too, about that nationality. And I even admitted that, ironically enough, me saying that comment was me being what I was saying. I said that nationality was ignorant because of some experience I had with one, I'm not trying to go into the details about it, y'all. I don't want to create more problems. But I even admitted that me making that comment and making a generalization because of one experience or, two experiences I had with two people of that nationality was ignorant in and of itself. I've already said that. But they're just holding on to grudges. They don't know forgiveness. And so them hearing that the roommate was that nationality, that's also why they go so hard about it. That's really what it's about. I already realized that. I never said the girl's name. Anyway, so that's also why they were pushing the stink thing though. Because after moving out from her, and she did have a BO issue. Again, she was going through stuff. And even in high school, she was going through stuff. So I understand, it wasn't me bullying her. But me saying that, and talking about then an experience that I had after moving out from her at this call center, where I was so paranoid about my breath because I was in such close proximity. I had never worked in such close proximity with people. Yeah, I had worked at schools before or wherever, and I had worked at Walmart, but to sit up next to somebody and be on phone calls all day long while you're getting trained, you're making the phone call in the person's face and stuff. Like I have, like I said, again, this insecurity with BO, and, you're in the office all day long, you're getting dry mouth, you're not eating. You have to drink water to keep your mouth moisturized. You're talking, so your mouth is getting dry out. You get dry mouth. I was just like, oh my God, I had this fear of bad breath, and then eating lunch and stuff too. So whenever the person sat next to me to train me, I would move back. Like I would kind of move back whenever the person was speaking, the girl that was training me. It was a woman, actually. It wasn't a girl, an older woman, right? And so every time she's, speaking, I would move back. And then when I'm speaking, I'm moving back too. And I saw her notice, and she kind of did this glare at me, and I wasn't trying to offend her. It was really just because the same thing happened the other day too, y'all. It's me. It's my own little personal OCDs and fears and whatever that sometimes create these stupid situations. Because even here in the targeting, the other day I went into the gas station and I had been at the gym. So I was sweaty and feeling, funky and sweaty and stuff. And I had been going all day. And I went into the gas station, and right up at the front part where you pay for the gas and stuff, this older guy is just standing there by the counter, right next to the machine where you pay. So it's I had to stand up on top of him, and I'm really big on personal space. First of all, I'm just a funny person like that, where I'm awkward and, I don't like being on top of people. I'm just funny, I'm shy, and then I'm sweaty. That was the main problem. I'm sweaty. I just came out the gym. This is the main problem with me catching the public bus too. I can't wait to get a car. I hate having to squeeze up next to people after I just came from working out. I'm sweaty and all this type of stuff like that. I've always been like that. So anyways, he's standing right there at the front of the counter, and then I'm already dealing with these false narratives and this targeting. So I didn't want to stand up on top of him while I'm sweaty like that. So I kind of moved, scrunched over away from him, I didn't want to be next to him. Again, not me being scornful, me more so being self-conscious is what it was. Immediately as I start leaving, revving by and all this stupidness, and I see this person with the army pants walking up, and I'm just like, oh my God, I already know what it is. They're trying to create another scenario like what happened on the bus or something like that, when it's completely different things. When I say on the bus, I'm talking about one of the things that made the targeting go viral in 2022 when I tried to relocate. The incident that took place on the Greyhound bus, y'all. Again, you have to be familiar with my story to know what I'm talking about. Where I was acting funny, there I was acting scornful purposefully. And that was reactive abuse to realizing the targeting followed me. Totally different scenario to where I'm sweaty and I'm moving funny like I don't want to be next to you because I'm self-conscious. And then I'm dealing with the targeting and false narratives and stuff, you know? So anyways, it was a similar situation in this call center though, where I kept moving back whenever I would talk, and whenever she would speak, I was moving back. And so I saw her, kind of glare at me when I was doing it. And then she started to do this thing where she was like purposely pinching her nose, and telling like the other people too. And it just kind of turned into this weird situation in the call center for me. It was very awkward and I had never dealt with that before. Like I had worked with so many people before, I talked in their face and it wasn't a problem, but it wasn't a situation where I'm sitting up on you all day long and we're on a call, we're both doing phone calls, training, and my mouth is getting dry and I'm feeling awkward about it. Like, the same fear that I've always had about my breath. And I don't have someone in my close circle there to reassure me, like, Reefy, your breath don't stink. It's just more so like, oh my God, I'm just fearful. I don't want to be up in your face talking on the phone all day long and I just ate lunch. It's like, it's just funny. I was brushing my teeth too. It's a crazy thing. I would eat lunch and I'd go in there and brush my teeth, wash my mouth out, and still just feeling awkward about it. I can't explain. It's just a weird thing I've had my whole life. This phobia of BO, not even just breath, just body odor in general. Anyway, so I stupidly said that in my full story, and of course they weaponized it against me and purposely started pinching their nose and trying to create this thing because of what I said in my full story. And so, obviously I made these videos and I knocked it down and they stopped doing it. They don't do it as much, but every now and then they do it still, like just to get under my skin. So the pinch nose thing has multiple layers to it. It's about me having a snotty nose. It's about the false narrative about BO. And then, what else is it? I think there's something else with it too. I think there's a third thing with it too. No, that's pretty much it, y'all. That's it. It was just the BO thing and me talking up in my nose, like the Squidward thing, the snotty nose thing. So that's a high level of bullying that they're trying to use when they do that pinch nose thing. And it irks me to no end. Like the other things. And I'm a confident person. That's the crazy thing about it. I'm a confident person and that pisses them off too. Like I said earlier, it irks them so bad that I'm still confident with all the bullying that they're doing. It's pissing them off. I think it's just like perplexing them. They're probably just like, how is this girl still confident with all of this that's happening? Why can't we break her? I think that's what they're thinking. And I can't explain to you why the Most High made me the way he did, but I'm glad that he did. You know how they say the Most High never gives you more than you can handle? I don't want to handle this and I don't want to deal with this. But obviously he knew that I could handle this. And so I think it's perplexing them that they're doing all this bullying and all these tactics and I'm still walking around like that bitch. I think it's pissing them off. And the more they do what they do, the more I'm moving like that. It's reactive abuse. It's a reaction. I'm not a cocky person. I am humble. Typically. Anyway, so I went off on a whole tangent talking about this nose thing to explain to you why I went on this dude in the bakery. So anyway, he looks at me, right? And he does this, he had this, like I said, mischievous look in his eyes. And he literally stared me down like he wanted a reaction. It was like he was like literally egging on a reaction. He stared me down and then he rubbed down his nose in this long, kind of annoying way. And I was just too through. I was tired. I had just came off a 9-hour shift. I literally sat in the car. You saw me sit in that car and wait because I didn't want to deal with any dumb shit. And I come in and then you're going to stare me down and try to egg a reaction out of me and rub down your nose. So I went in on the dude. I went in on him because he had like these dark circles around his eyes. He was going bald, and no disrespect to anyone that's going bald. That's not a big deal. There are a lot of handsome men out there that are bald. If you shave off the donut, and you get a goatee and you work it out, you can look good. I've seen some very handsome men that are going bald. So I'm not, this is how it is. I make a comment about one person and then it applies to other people and then they have an issue with me. This is how easily you tack on enemies in this targeting. I'm not coming for people that are going bald. I'm really not. But he was going bald and he had the hair growing in still. So I could see that he was going bald, and then he had these dark circles, like raccoon circles around his eyes. It's just like, it's easy for me to go in on somebody, especially when I'm dealing with bullying 24/7. It's easy to be a bitch. I'm telling you, it's not hard. And you look in a mess and you're being mean, then I'm going to be mean too. And they would paint it like I'm just some monster. Like he didn't just try to bully me and antagonize me. Now look, they're turning on. Look at the craziness. This is what I'm talking about. It's gaslighting. Now they're going to turn on the lawnmower when I said paint it like I'm some monster. Like he didn't just rub down his nose and try to get a reaction out of me and literally stare me down too. They will see the whole interaction. But they're so damn biased, some of them, and subjective, That they're just going to hone in on my reaction because I was a better bully than you were. That's really what the problem is. I was a better bully than you were. Anyway, so I started going in on the dude. I just started going in. I was tired. I was irritated. And I had literally isolated myself to not deal with Gangstalking. You still purposely egged something out of me. And I had that reaction. I went in on him. Typically, I wouldn't go in on somebody like that. I wouldn't. I went in on him. And he looked bassety when he was leaving too. He tried to do this thing where he's tried to look over at me, but he looked very bassety. And I could tell I hit the mark. And that's just how it is. That's how I've kind of turned. Like, they've turned me into like this bully for real. Like, they're creating monsters with this targeting. They'll paint it like you're this monstrous person and you're a bully and that's how you always been. And that's not the case. You're dealing with heinous treatment and bullying 24/7, and eventually you start to buck back. And it's a problem. It's like you're supposed to just lay there and take licks and not fight back. So anyways, that's what happened, and then I instantly, as I'm leaving the revving by and doing all this craziness, and again, it's monster bitch at it again. That's the headline, instead of, really being real about what just took place. So anyways, that's what happened with that, y'all. And I'm not going to react to it anymore. I already know how they are. Whenever I say something bothers me, they start to do it more. So I'm anticipating more rubbing down of the nose now, because it's kind of like that's how they move. And it's like they all moved in this kind of like, it's just like a zombie apocalypse is what it feels like sometimes, because it's just like so synchronic how some of them all start doing the same thing. So I'm not going to react to it anymore. I caught myself and I said I don't want to keep having these reactions and then sabotaging myself, because even though it's reactive abuse, at the end of the day, I'm the one suffering when I have the reaction. So I'm going to stop self-sabotaging in that way. So they could do it all they want. I saw several people after that day purposely doing it, trying to get a reaction, and I ignored the shit out of that, right? But it kind of happened in the gym today, and I had a reaction, and then it created something with someone else. And it's just bonkers to me. I'm going to talk about it in a second. Like, it's just like they're just on top of me and I can't breathe is what it feels like sometimes when I'm just trying to mind my business and do my thing, So that's what the video is about, really. First of all, I'm only making it because of the gaslighting that was taking place just now. When I came out of the gym, I was like, I'm going to make a video about what happened. Came home, I didn't make the video. I fell asleep. I ate food. I woke up, they're still sending bullshit with the technology like they always do. Gaslighting me and doing noise campaign in the background. Projecting what they're doing onto me. Like I said, what really led to me actually getting up and saying, I'm going to make this video, was them sending me a video. Not Real Housewives of Atlanta, it was Basketball Wives, right? And they were talking about these two girls that were going back and forth with each other. Two women, grown women, two in their 40s, acting immature, right? But anyways, going back and forth with each other. And so one of the women, Tammy Roman, if y'all are familiar with her, she's like, you just mad. You see me out here shining. I'm glowing up and you just watching me. You mad. It's like that triggered them. They started making noise and a bunch of noise in the neighborhood. I'm just like, what? That's what's happening to me. It's like, even despite everything that's happening, I'm going out there and I'm pushing myself and I'm fighting and I'm surviving and I'm thriving and I'm taking care of myself. And it is a glow up, because even though I'm doing the working out for health reasons, there is the aesthetic too. I'm bodybuilding and I do like how I'm starting to look. It is a glow up, but it's not about that. That's not the main reason. The main thing was health and survival. That's what was the main motivation behind that. But of course, it's a benefit that I'm starting to look better too, obviously. And that was part of the reason too, because they were bullying me so damn bad and being monsters and calling me the monster, right? That I started taking care of myself, right? So I started working out in the gym. I went back to the gym like I've done my whole life. I showed y'all prior videos of what I used to look like in my early 20s, right? I showed y'all prior videos that I've been into athletics and working out prior to my targeting, so this isn't new for me. But what motivated me to get back into fitness was survival. I was skinny. I looked sick, right? Because I suspect, and I could basically almost concretely say this happened, but just for the sake of not bearing false witness, I'm going to say I suspect that they were hitting me with radiation energy weapons last year, right? For a good 2 to 3 months, I was dealing with that type of attack. And I had gotten skinnier than I had ever been in my entire life. I felt sick. I had black circles around my eyes, similar to what the guy in the bakery had. But mine's were, well, his might be health related too. Who knows? Or maybe he's not getting rest. Mine were health related. I was feeling the effects of what I suspect have been energy weapon attacks, microwave energy weapon attacks. With the shadow networking technology, they were hinting to me that that's what was going on. They kept sending me stuff about cooking and radiation, etc. And I was skinnier than I had ever been in my entire life. And then to add insult to injury, they were bullying me with the shadow networking about being skinny. In addition to everything else. Just coming for me nonstop. This is what they do, and this is what they've been doing. And then now I start reacting and being a bully back, and it's a problem for them. So anyways, that's what made me start working. I was like, nah, F that. I said, I'm not going to lay her and let them beat me down and literally take my life. Yah forbid, I rebuke it in the name of the Most High, because I sent a text 4 years ago. I've worked too hard and I've come too far to lay down and let them, do whatever to me because I sent a text message. I've been through hardships before. This is just another one. I'm not giving up now because I sent a text and it created this crazy situation. So I got up and I fought. And I started working out and doing what I've done in the past, what I love, working out, taking care of my mental, taking care of my body, healing and regenerating cells. And then, of course, an added benefit to working out is you start to look better. You start to gain weight. You start to get muscle mass. That's just what happens. And so that's what started happening. I went in the gym, started working out, etc. And so that's like pissing them off. Like, they're doing the most as far as the targeting and the gangstalking goes because of it. And then gaslighting me and making it seem like I'm the one sitting there watching them getting mad when they're literally doing that to me. That baffled me. When they made the noise campaign for that, I was like, nah, I'm going to get up and make this video about what happened in the gym today. That was the motivation. When they did that, I was like, nah, I'm going to get up and make this video. Anyway, y'all, grass cutting, gang stalking, I suspect grass cutting is taking place. Y'all heard when it started, when I said the monster thing. Again, gaslighting. But anyway, so I'll finish the video in a bit. I didn't want this video to be too long either, but everything that I said needed to be said. So I'm gonna finish in a bit, y'all. Anyway, y'all, I'm back to finish the video. Actually suffering from a headache right now and nausea because they're humming so intensely on me. It's ridiculous what happens. They paint these false narratives with the technology and with the gang stalking. You refute it with your videos, right? I mean, at least that's what I do. I see other targets doing the same, refuting the false narratives, however they have to do it. And if you're able to successfully refute the false narrative, then you have to deal with an energy weapon attack. It's crazy. They just sent me a video a little while ago when I took a break from making this video here in the newsfeed about Keisha Cole and Chrissy Lampkin, who was dating Jim Jones for decades, about them basically, dealing with or catering to men that didn't truly love them, basically. Men that basically just used them and took their best years from them and then kind of just left them in the dust. And again, this is a false narrative that they've been desperately trying to perpetuate and attach it to that same narrative with the cyber-stalking, cyberbullying guy, even though him and I never had anything romantic. That's what's hilarious about the whole thing. Not even a kiss. I'm telling you, nothing romantic with this man. Just a friendship, an in-depth friendship and getting to know each other. And then years of bullying after I made an accusation against him, which I've acknowledged I was wrong for. Not a major accusation. I talked about it in my full story, y'all. Y'all will have to listen to my story. I'm not going into the details about it right now. It was immature. I was young. I had just dealt with the betrayal from my ex who took my virginity. That was really where all the problems with men stem from, was really him, because I broke up with him and then got back with him 2 years later, and he ended up kind of just using me, like stringing me along, taking my virginity, etc. So I had trust issues when I started dealing with the cyber-stalking, cyberbullying guy, and I kind of took those out on him. That's basically what happened, and it culminated in me getting bullied for years from that situation. I'm not going into the details about it. And then fast forward now about a decade later to my targeting, the people in my close circle rented a house in the neighborhood where his family lives. Prior to my targeting started, they were already living there. But that's also why I thought it was something spiritual. I'm just like, how are all these things working out just perfectly to screw me over? Like, everything just kept falling in line in a way where I was just getting screwed left and right. Anyway, so the targeting starts, and I told y'all what happened, where it's like, the people in my close circle kind of befriended his family. My dad was in the bush with his dad, laughing, and the current was being taken. And this was prior to me ever making videos, prior to me ever even leaving Island. And so when I came back and I decided to tell my story, I was still living in that neighborhood at the time, and I mentioned that situation, and they created all these false lie-ass narratives, just delulu fanatical stuff that I think they fantasize would be the scenario. I think this is what they would want the scenario to be in their head. I feel like a toy for them. It's like this toy that they're playing with, this reality TV show toy, and they're creating all these fanatical, fake, fantasy, Delulu type things and running with it because it's fun for them. It's like, it's not even reality anymore, the things they're creating. Anyway, so him and I never had anything romantic. We were getting to know each other. We were friends for a couple years. We never had anything romantic. But they created this whole false narrative about mistress and side piece. And just because I talked about the thing in my story, and it's obvious why I talked about it. And so then also too, now with that narrative, they try to paint it like I'm just this type of female that would be in a relationship with a man that's mistreating me, basically, and be in this long-standing relationship where I'm getting strung along and misused. And, this is just a part of them being spiteful and painting false narratives. That did happen to me once with the ex that took my virginity. That's who it happened with. And that was retribution, again, because of how I broke up with him. It's never happened to me with any other man. Every other relationship that I've been in, and now they're going to paint it like I'm a narcissist or this is going to be another tick against me when they're constantly throwing false narratives at me. So now I'm saying the correct narrative, and the people in my close circle can verify this despite whatever is going on between us. Every relationship I've been in romantically with a man, I was the one that ended it. I've never been broken up with. That's never happened. And I would never beg or chase after a man. In fact, the joke was with my sisters was the fact that I run from relationships. Ever since what happened with my ex, like, it messed me up. I'd be running from relationships and stuff. And so the false narratives they're painting, it's just delulu. It's just so far from what the reality is. Of course, I'm single now. I'm targeted. That's how it works. There was another target that was talking about this, how they isolate you, and obviously your love life is cut off amongst many other things, different aspects of life. And then they'll gaslight you about it, about you being single. Like, it's not the targeting, right? So that's not my focus, and that's not a problem right now. Right now, I'm trying to get out of this thing and I'm trying to survive. But it's hilarious how they gaslight you about certain things and they know full well what's going on. So anyways, when I stopped playing this video, like I said, when I stopped making it, I took a little break. Instantly with the shadow networking, they sent me a video about Chrissy Lampkin, who was with Jim Jones for decades. If you all watch Love and Hip Hop New York, you know about them, right? Infamous couple. And she was just dogging after this man for years. Good looking girl, right? Nice shape and everything. Like, no reason to really run down this dude. But I think she was just caught up in the hype of who he was, because back in the day he was, a big rapper or whatever. So she just hung on to this relationship for years and years and years with this man, to the point where he never engaged to her. They were together for decades. She eventually got so desperate, she got on her knee and proposed to him. This is a big thing on Love and Hip Hop New York, man. I would never. I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but like, either my self-esteem is too low or too high to do that. I would never do that. And I'm very old-fashioned too. Despite me being, like a tomboy or whatever it is they say, a strong female. I'm never going to propose to a man. That's just completely against anything that I would believe in. No disrespect to any female that does it. If that's what you do and that works for you, then cool. Because there are females that have done it and it works for them. That's not anything like me. I'm just painting all these false narratives. So anyway, she proposed to the man and he accepted, never married her. They were engaged for like 2 decades. That's an over exaggeration, but literally like almost 15 years they were engaged. Mind you, prior to that, they had been together for another like 20 years. They were together for a long time, man. They're approaching 50 now. I think they are in their early 50s right now. And so he basically took her best years from her. And then now recently they broke up. I guess she realized he was never going to marry her. It took her decades to realize the man wasn't going to marry her. So they broke up, and she wrote this big post about, you'll never find anyone like me, or whatever she wrote. And apparently the man flew and met some next, girl, basically, and married her right away. This is the rumor. It's not been confirmed. This is a rumor. But this girl, high maintenance girl from Basketball Wives, right? Brooke Bailey, if y'all are familiar with her. She's infamous for dating basketball players and NBA football players and people with money, right? She's one of those type of females. Apparently, this is what they're saying. It's not been confirmed. It's a rumor. Allegedly, after breaking up with Chrissy, Jim Jones flew and married this girl. Had like a, like how you elope, run off and have like those, undercover type of weddings that nobody knows about, but then, somehow because you're a celebrity, someone found out. That's what they're claiming. It hasn't been confirmed yet, and nobody has stepped forth. None of the people that are involved in the rumor have stepped forth to say anything about it. So people are really running with the rumor and thinking that he flew and married this girl that he just met when he had been with Chrissy for damn near, their whole life, decades, and he would not marry her. She even had to propose to him. So they're sending me that bullshit trying to paint this false narrative again, the Lulu fantasy. And making noise outside while they're, sent with the shadow networking, sending me the videos playing, and they sent me the stupid video. They're outside making one set of noise campaign, bird drone, insect drone, revving up. I'm like, this, it's not anything near what actually happened or anything near anything that's ever happened to me, because even with my ex that took my my V card and was leading me on for years, there were still boundaries there, and I didn't stick around for that long. It was like a few years of me sticking around hoping for whatever fantasy I had in my head. I told you all already in one of these recent videos, I had the fantasy that I was gonna marry the man I gave it to and whatever. That's what really had me holding on for so long. Yes, I cared for him. I cared about him, obviously. I'm human. But it was more so just the idea of the fact that I had held on to the thing for so long. You don't understand how many opportunities I had to thing that thing away. That's why I laugh with the whole thing, because full well I'm not a hoe. I held on to my virginity for years, and I didn't lose it until age 21. And then when I lost it to him, it was like it set me off, because I realized that he was playing games. And that's what had me holding on for so long, because he kind of flipped the switch on me. And so that's what happened in that situation. But that's not been a consistent thing with me in my dating history. The only accurate thing in that video was talking about when they hopped over to Keisha Cole, and they're talking about her and how she hops in and out of relationships so quickly, and she keeps messing with these men that aren't good for her. It's not that I mess with men that aren't good for me, but I do hop in and out of relationships, and typically I'm the problem, because I have trust issues, and I got messed up from that thing with my ex from damn near a decade ago. Anyways, y'all, my head is hurting me. Let me finish this video though, because I'm going off on a tangent. It's just so much gaslighting. It's like, it's psychological warfare. The technical term is soft warfare. So they purposely paint these false narratives. They purposely gaslight you. They purposely tear you down to come for your self-esteem. These are all universal tactics used on all targets. It's psychological warfare. And so you have to be cognizant of that, and not fall into it. You not fall into it. I'm hearing so much loud noise in the living room, y'all. It's throwing me off. And not fall into it. I know I wanted to finish doing this video, right? Talking about what happened in the gym today, y'all. So speaking of that pinch nose thing, that did happen in the gym today, and it doesn't happen as often, right? It happens every now and then, or they'll do it real quick, just to be funny. But it's not something that happens consistently in the gym, right? They stopped doing it, right? It was just like an off and on thing whenever I annoyed them. Similar to the thing they would do where they're making the noises while they're working out, going, making the loud, stupid noises, to antagonize me. These are off and on tactics that they use sometimes if I've done something, I guess, that's annoyed them, whatever the case is. But for the most part, I stay to myself. If anything, for the most part, the gangstalking is who they're bringing into the gym. If anything, that's the gangstalking tactics that they use, bringing certain people around. That's more so the gangstalking rather than them actually doing any physical thing. But today I noticed, I got in. It was super packed, first of all. Y'all, they're getting so loud in the living room. I'm so irritated. Like, right as I'm trying to talk about this thing here. So I noticed when I got in the gym this morning, y'all, let me wait till the talking out there stops, because I can't, my head is pounding right now because they've been humming on me so hard, and now the loud noises out there. Let me just wait till they're done, and then I'll finish this video. All right, y'all, let me finally talk about the main point of the video, really, documenting what happened in the gym today. So like I said, y'all, sorry, I just ate a hot dog, y'all. I'm trying to pile in on my food. Y'all know I'm eating in a surplus, those of y'all that have been keeping up with my videos. I'm just talking about now the bodybuilding and the working out. I'm eating in a surplus because I realized that's why I kind of hit this plateau with my weight, where I would seem to be staying in the low 170 range, because I wasn't eating enough. It's like I literally just kept neglecting my diet. I was like, okay, well, I'm working out hard enough. I'm eating 2 meals a day. And I wasn't eating enough, nowhere near enough. And also, to the intensity of my workout wasn't extreme enough either. because my muscles had kind of grown accustomed to what I was doing. Excuse me. Remember, I've been in the gym since the beginning of the year. So about, I want to say like maybe a month and a half ago, I started eating way more, started doing way more reps and way more higher intensity. Well, all the workouts I've been doing, I'm doing way more now. And I've like seen a difference very quickly. Like I've already gained like 12 pounds. I'm in the 180 range now. I'm like 184 or 185 my weight, and I can actually see the difference too. So it's like, it's just, it feels good when you can see the difference, because if you're working your ass off in the gym, so often, like how I do and going so ham, and you're not seeing results, that is frustrating. But again, it's not all about that. Like I told you guys in the earlier clip, it was mainly about health and the internal rather than the external. But of course, I'm not a liar. The external played a part in things too. Not having seen myself look so skinny before and not even seeing my muscle tone. I'm not accustomed to that. With the way our genetics work, it's like in my family, we have natural muscle tone. So like even if we're not working out, we have muscle. And I wasn't seeing any muscle last year after what happened to me happened. What I talked about in the earlier clips where I got sick. And, just skinny and stuff. And then they had the nerve after everything that happened to be sending shadow networking, teasing me about the skinniness, And so it was just like terrible. And so that's what the motivation was. It was like the external and the internal. Healing myself, but then also to focusing on rebuilding my body, literally. So it just felt good to now see results and stuff. And, you working yourself so hard in the gym and you're not seeing results, that can be frustrating, even if that's not the sole purpose of your working out. And so now, like, within the last month and a half, like I said, I gained like 10 pounds, 12 pounds, and I can see the difference. And so that's cool. Anyways, I've been eating a lot, and so that's what's going on here. Like, today was like a lacked off today. I slept and tired, and, I worked last night, and then the gym today, and then I was making video, and they're humming on me. My head hurts. I'm nauseous. So I neglected. I ate a good bit of what's on my list of things for me to eat in the day, but there's still quite a few things that I should have eaten already by now. And so it's kind of like this thing where sometimes when I do this and I procrastinate, it piles up on me and I end up having to go to work. I told you guys I work the night shift and try to eat like all those meals that I missed that I should have eaten earlier and try to pile it into the night. It's just hard, man. It's hard. Anyway, so I'm trying to see if I can eat some stuff before I try to get some sleep, because I have work in a couple hours. I just wanted to finish this video. Now they're humming on me again to be spiteful, even though I just told them that it's making me nauseous and my head is hurting. Anyway, y'all, let me finish the video though. So when I got into the gym this morning, it's like super packed. Like more people than I have seen in a long time. And, a lot of them are on the machines that I typically go over to use and stuff. I was just like, whoa, this is kind of different. What's going on today? But it wasn't like this thing where I'm going to automatically assume Gangstalking, because again, I don't own the gym. And if you're paying for your membership, you have the right to come and work out anytime that you want, right? So that's just how that works. And I understand that, and I'm not going to sit there and get an attitude about that. So I didn't. I signed in and I went to the machines that were available, because I do have a long list of workouts that I'm doing, y'all. Let me go over and show you guys, because, this channel really is supposed to be a positive channel, showing you all my life and just kind of vlogging. Of course, there's the element of targeting, right? That's the main purpose and intent of the channel now. I've had my YouTube since my early 20s, and I actually used to have natural hair videos up that I deleted. I had dreadlocks back in the day, off and on. I've had dreadlocks like 3 times in my life. I've experimented with my natural hair, y'all. I've had long natural hair several times. So I think it's so hilarious that they're now bullying me about my hair length, because I neglected my hair this year and I chopped it off last year. It's the funniest thing ever. I'm just like, damn, I wish it had been like when my hair was longer. I just took that for granted. I didn't care. It wasn't an issue. But I even had dreadlocks in the past, y'all, and I had a natural hair journey here on this channel. That was how this YouTube actually got created about a decade ago. And I deleted those videos when I chopped the locks off. I'm always chopping my hair off, like literally always chopping my hair off. Anyway, so here's some psycho revving in the road. Like, they are triggered and bothered, some of them, not all of them. Again, the people that choose to get involved, they don't even go home. They sit in vehicles lingering around, waiting for moments to rev by instead of going in their house and resting their body. It's strange, man. It's a strange program. Anyway, so, like, you're so invested in what's going on with someone. And then earlier you're going to do noise campaign about you see me shining and you're in the background mad. But this is what's going on. You're in the background mad and triggered for no reason. Anyway, this is what gets them mad. I'm just speaking real facts, man. This is my life. This stupid shit is happening to, and then I talk about it. I get retribution. They're getting mad about that. It's bold audacity. Anyway, craziness. And it's not even specific to the island because they like to make it seem like I'm talking bad about the island, looking down on the island. This is everywhere with the targeting. It was worse in Florida. The worst, actually, that my targeting was in Florida. And Indiana was pretty damn bad, too. Florida, out of every location I've been to with this damn targeting, Florida was the worst of the worst. Anyway, it's just a strange, creepy program that's in the earth. It's just a weird thing. Anyway, let me continue with what I'm saying, though. Oh yeah, I just wanted to show y'all the workouts I'm doing real quick, just on a positive note, because I started going off on a tangent. I'm actually kind of glad they did that noise campaign, so I was just rambling on and going on a tangent. So initially when I created this channel about a decade ago, it was like to document my natural hair journey and just stuff going on in my life, and then deleted it when I chopped off my locks, and just kind of had the YouTube as a place for me to go and see videos rather than create stuff. And then when my targeting started, I said, you know what, let me start telling my story. And I decided to actually take time and effort into this channel. And obviously, you see, I put it together and I have a decent little channel here. I don't have a huge following, but I have a low following here too. 200 something subscribers. That's not much, especially considering other big, huge YouTubers. But for a target at the level that I'm at, I have a decent amount of subscribers. Anyway, y'all, so let me show y'all something positive before I talk about the negative, right, as far as the workout goes. I know I've shown y'all this list before, but I've moderated it so much since I've last shown it in a video. This is my workout regimen. Y'all can see what I mean when I tell you I'm really getting it and keeping up with myself. So on Monday, I have leg day. On Tuesday, I rest. Wednesday, another leg day. Thursday, I actually hop on my bike and I ride over to a neighborhood. That's quite a while away. It's a hop and a skip if you're driving in a vehicle, but by foot or bike, that is quite a trek, quite a hike. And I ride my bike over to that neighborhood and I play basketball for 40 to 45 minutes. Friday's another leg day. Saturday's a rest day. Sunday, I jog for 20 minutes. I'm not going to try and stay on this too long, y'all, because I just want to hurry up and wrap up the video and it's getting to be too long. But as you can see, I have a very long, this is my leg day, right? I have quite a few workouts that I do when I get to that gym. Oh, I forgot that I can't scroll and talk because the video will glitch. That's how this recorder app works. If I try to talk and scroll, my voice is going to be glitchy when I play the video back. So I'm going to talk first, but I'm just going to scroll through real quick. I'm not going to go through every workout. I just want y'all to see the vigorous workout I'm doing and putting my body through when I go to that gym. This is all what I'm doing for leg day, y'all. Like a lot of stuff, like 50 hyper extensions. I'm doing 140 leg presses, right? I do 2 sets. So I do 20 at 100 pounds and 50 at 50 pounds. And then I do a second set afterward. Not right away, obviously. I fit it into the workout. I do 35, 70 leg curls in total, right? Of course, I break it into sets. I have 2 sets of 35. I have squats that I'm doing at different locations. Like I'm doing 25 hack squats at the leg press machine. The leg press machine also doubles as a hack squat machine. I'm doing 50 squats on the Smith machine and then 25 squats on the other squat machine that I told you guys provides more stability so I can go heavier with it. I'm able to go to like up to 320 pounds with that machine. I'm doing a lot, y'all. Just understand that. There's a lot that's happening here. And so whenever I do go in the gym, if I can't do the workout in the order that I have it planned, of course it sucks. But I have so many workouts here that I'm doing that I can just hop to a different area and figure out something else that I can get into until the machine I need is available. So understand, even if it is gangstalking, that's not something I'm going to throw an accusation out about, and it's not something I'm going to get upset about. If I go in and the machines that I use that are typically not utilized are being utilized, and it looks like a lot of people are in the gym this morning, I'm not going to throw a fit about it. I'm not going to bear false witness. And when I say bear false witness, make an accusation and call it gangstalking, and I'm not going to get an attitude about it. I'll just be like, okay, so those machines are taken. Let me look at my list. What else do I need to do? And that's what I did this morning. I literally saw that the machines that I typically go to were taken. and I hopped to something else. That's what I did this morning, and I just changed up the order of the workout. That was fine. Nothing major happening. Nothing crazy. Again, aside from just seeing more people in the gym, nothing out of the ordinary took place. So then now I get towards the end of my workout and the gym kind of started to clear out, which typically happens anyway. I've said this in prior videos since I've been going in the morning time. Usually in the morning there are more people when I first get there. And I'm catching like the tail end of these people's whoa. I'm catching the tail end of their workout, the people that are there, right? So they're there with me, that large amount of people. It wasn't as much as what was there this morning, but typically, more people when I get in, and then they leave and it's just a few people left back with me for the remainder of my workout. So anyways, that's what happened. Basically they started to clear out and I was able to get to the machines I needed to get to and use them and, do my thing. And I ended up now over to the area with the Smith machine, the dumbbells, and the leg press machine. So I get over there and nobody was over there when I initially got over there. It was clear. The area was clear. So I went on the leg press machine first. And I started doing my leg press. It looked just starting to hum on me with the craziness again. Anyway, so I got on the leg press machine and I started doing my hack squats. And then I started doing my leg presses, right? And I stayed over there for a little bit because I have quite a few reps that I do on that machine. When I finished up using that machine, the next step would have been for me to hop onto the Smith machine, but I realized I forgot to do my lunges. So I looked up and I saw that the Italian guy that, I said his name ticks into my head, right? So I'd be avoiding this guy like the plague in the gym. Not because he's done anything to me, but because his name ticks in my head. That's the tick of the month. Like I told you guys, like what I talked about in my last video. Not the last video. The last video, as you all can see, I re-uploaded me squatting the 270 pounds. But the video, let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. Not even the video before that one. It was the video before that one, Okay, blah, blah, blah. So the part 2, the impeding of the impeding of the targeted individual's life. That part 2 video, that 2-hour and 55-minute video. In that video, I was talking about, the situation with him and his name ticking in my head. And I've talked about it in a few of these recent videos a couple times, right? So I was expounding on that and how his name is ticking in my head. And that's just been a constant thing with this neural monitoring. That's a part of the torture is your thoughts being projected. And sometimes a person's name will start ticking in your head. It's just weird. I don't know if it happens to other targets. It happens to me. I read an article where they said there are targets that are like millions of targets complaining about this technology and thoughts being projected and feeling like thought manipulation is happening. So it's psychological. Oftentimes they can push stuff in your head with the technology. I've proven that to you all. Check out the links in the description box in the comment section. But I'm going to keep it real. I think more times than not, I think 70% of the time or 60% of the time it's psychological. Just knowing that your thoughts are being projected and maybe you have an anxiety with a certain person for whatever reason. And that causes the name to tick in your head. And then I think 30 to 40% of the time they do mess with you and push stuff in your head. But I think majority of the time it's psychological. This is psychological warfare. And just knowing your thoughts are being projected can create that type of thing where stuff that you're fearful might pop in, especially when they're programming you and send you all kind of weird stuff all day long. Stuff might start popping in. And so it happens to other targets too. And they've been complaining about it and saying it's thought manipulation. And truly, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's psychological. Anyway, so he's now what I call the tick of the month. Remember I told y'all when stuff pops in my head that I feel like I can't control, I call it a tick. That's my term. That's not like targeted individual jargon. That's specifically a term I made up. That's what I call it. And I've had several names stick in my head. That's what I was talking about in this part 2 video. It's happened with an elderly neighborhood in this very neighborhood. An elderly neighbor in this neighborhood. It's happened with a neighbor that lived right next to us that we grew up knowing. It's happened with an old coworker that I had some sort of disparity with. It's happened with several people. It's happened with the secretary for my job because there was angst there at the fact that I was being watched 24/7. And I felt like these reactions that I was having could, impede me or cause me to, get in problems with my job. Like, it's just happened with several people, right? For different reasons. It's typically, if it's like something that I feel anxious about, that's typically when it starts, a name might become a tick for me. So anyways, I talked about the Italian guy and the race sensitization and blah blah blah, and then also the false narrative about being thirsty and all this stupid nonsense. The thirsty thing isn't what made his name start taking my head. I've been working out with him since not with him, but with him in the same proximity as me since the beginning of the year. But then I told y'all, in that part 2 video, I explained what happened, 2 months ago, that created this situation where he came in the gym and was kind of doing gang stalking stuff. And I think it was retribution because of a video that I played that I worded things in a way that may have sounded offensive. Just kind of talking about some of the propaganda I shared in my car in Florida. So that was when I started seeing him in the gym in the morning time. He wasn't there before. I also started seeing some other faces started to see some other faces pop up in the morning time too that I started seeing on a regular basis. But I don't own the gym. So even if it is gang stalking, which likely it could be, right? I don't own the gym. And so it's not like this thing where I'm going to be a bitch about it, right? Or catch an attitude because I'm seeing this person. The problem is with him specifically, again, is that this name thing is happening. And so it's just like, it's causing mental turmoil for me because it's like, I'm trying to work out and they're running with this thing too. They're loving that this is happening. I think they feel like it's karma because of his race, right? But anyway, the thing is happening and it's making the workout more strenuous because it's like I'm already, like I just showed you, all pushing my body to the limit. I'm doing all these workouts and I'm lifting super heavy too in some of these workouts. And then I'm also dealing with this name popping in my head. And, I know they can all hear my thoughts and they're kind of running with, the fact that his name is popping in my head. So it's like I'm warring with this freaking weight on my back and trying to work out and push the thought out my head. It's just hard. It's difficult. And it's like the more they put him there, and I don't want to say they're putting him there, right? Because I do truly believe he's a personal trainer. I think he really is. But again, coming at a certain time after a certain thing happened, and then this tick is happening too. That's what it is. It kind of just feels like it might be gang stalking, but I'm not certain and I don't want to bear false witness, right? I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm not going to do. So anyways, it's just causing more of the tick. Like with these other ticks, I wasn't coming into contact with these people on a regular basis. With the coworker, yes. One night out of the week I had to work with him. So every week I would see him at least once. One night out of the week. But that's just once. With this guy, I'm seeing him 3 times out of the week because I go to the gym 3 days out of the week and he's now coming consistently at the same time as me. So my brain isn't even getting a chance to recover from the tick. It's just like this consistent tick and I don't know if it's going to stop. I'm just praying like my brain will just stop. And actually it's been getting better. I'm not going to lie. It's not like what was happening when I first learned his name. It's getting a lot better. It's happening off and on, but it's not like consistently like what was happening when I first learned his name about 2 months ago where it was just like all throughout the whole session his name was popping in my head. I'm like, what the hell is this? There I was even considering like, is this stop manipulation? Like I was really wondering. But it's not as bad now, but it is still happening. And I talked about, again, check out that video if y'all want to hear about it, more details about it, because I don't want to go into too much detail about it. But anyways, for the most part, he stays to himself and he's not really an asshole about it. But some days he's an asshole, right? And it just depends on if, I guess, I've said something that's offensive or maybe something I did was misinterpreted in the gym. I don't really know, but for the most part, on most days, see, look at the bullshit. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Because they're watching. This is a movie for them. You have to understand that. For the people around, this is a movie for them. So even this interaction, I believe, with this guy and myself, I think is entertaining for them. I think they're sitting there eating popcorn looking at what's happening next. And this is somebody's real life, It's crazy. Look, they put some thing on now. It's just craziness, man. Like, this is not All My Children or General Hospital. Find a show to watch and watch it. Or Love and Hip Hop. Like, find something you can watch. I'm a human. I'm a real breathing human. This is real life, man. Anyway, so, some days it's like he'll stay to himself and he's aware of the situation. It's cool. And then some days he'll do some gang stalking stuff. It really just depends, like I said, on if I maybe said something offensive to him in a video or if something was misinterpreted in the gym. I'm not really sure what it is. Today, I feel like there was a misinterpretation in the gym. I don't know. I'm not in his head like he's in mine and like they're in my head. So I don't really know what's being thought by anyone really around me. But anyway, so I went in there and like I said, it was kind of packed. Did my workouts over in that first area. They are on it, boy. This is crazy. I'm telling you, this is primetime entertainment for them. They're loving this thing with this guy. And then they're revving up out there with their craziness. Anyway, so I get over to the other area where the leg press machine is and the dumbbells and the Smith machine, right? That's my last area before I leave the gym. And I'm on the leg press machine. I do my hack squats. I do my leg presses. Y'all, it's just, if I don't laugh, I would go bonkers. It's just hilarious to me. Anyway, so the whole time while I'm in there, he's staying to himself. He's doing his thing, right? He wasn't paying attention to me. I wasn't paying attention to him. We're doing our own thing, right? He wasn't doing any gang stalking stuff. No noises and lifting weights. No, nothing. He was just training somebody, several people actually. Minding his business, I'm minding mine, right? He wasn't coming around me either. It wasn't anything crazy. I get over there now, like I said, to that area by the leg press machine. And he's training this girl, and he really does bring her over there in that area. Sometimes when I'm over there, he's over there with that girl or with other people. It happens sometimes. It does, right? So I didn't automatically think gang stalking. It's not like I was like, oh, he's over here now because I'm over here. I didn't think that at all. He was training that girl for a good while before I got over there, and he had her in different areas. And then when I got on the leg press machine, he brought her over there, and he had her on the machine right next to the Smith machine. So when I got off the leg press, I remembered that I didn't do my lunges. And typically I do my lunges before I do the leg press and the hack squats. So I noticed, first of all, that the Smith machine was free. And sometimes someone will come and take the machine right as I'm about to use it. And I do suspect gang stalking in those moments. But I mean, it could possibly be that somebody's just coming in, and this is when they could come in and they choose to use the machine at this time. So I'm not going to bear false witness, and I never get pissed about it. There was one time when I had a reaction with this guy that didn't deserve it. And it was really because I had been dealing with gang stalking prior to getting to the gym, and I had that reaction then. But typically when that's done, even if I can tell it's gang stalking, I don't react to it. I'll just find something else to do in the meantime. And I'll ask the person, hey, can you let me know when you're done with the machine? Anyway, so part of me was like, maybe I should hop on the machine now and try to get it before someone comes and hops on and, whatever. But I was like, nah, I need to do my lunges. And then two, also I saw him, like I said, standing right next to the machine with his hand on the Smith machine. And he was like, this girl that he's been training, this woman, was using the machine right next to the Smith machine. So I'm like, in my head, I don't want my brain to start ticking. I've been doing good today. My brain wasn't really ticking today. And I still need to do my lunges. So let me just grab the dumbbells and I'll go over to the other part of the gym where I can stand in the mirror and I'll do and at this point too, now this older man that I'd be seeing in there off and on too, he sat down in the area, right? And he had dumbbells. So I was like, let me just go over to the other part of the gym and I'll do my lunges, knock out my lunges, and then I'll come back and do the last part of my workout, my Smith machine squats. So I noticed I'm walking over to the other part of the gym with the dumbbells. I'm walking slow. I wasn't doing anything. Wasn't acting boastful. Nothing at all. I'm walking over to that direction. He starts to power walk in that direction with the girl that he's training. Now, maybe he's just walking fast because he is like a trainer, and, sometimes when you're a trainer, a personal trainer, and you're an athletic person, you're always in like go mode and you're moving quick and stuff. I've been seeing him in the gym. Sometimes he does move like that, like super fast, like that type of way. But then sometimes, he's just moving like a regular person. But literally, I took the dumbbells and I walked to the other part of the gym to go do my lunges. And then he was walking so fast, he ended up cutting me off. Like somehow he got her up off the machine and they're walking this way. And he was power walking so fast, he ended up cutting into my path. So I was like, whoa, so it's just like, I did kind of scratch my head a little bit, but I was like, okay, well, maybe they were really going to come to this machine next. I was like, okay. So I went into the mirror, right, in that area, and I just started doing my lunges, and I just felt awkward about it because he was right there by the treadmill with the girl. And I said, let me just go back to the other mirror now and finish the lunges because I didn't want his name to start ticking in my head. It's awkward. And so, like, typically I'd be avoiding him, like I said, like the plague, and not in a disrespectful way. It's more so like there's this awkward thing happening and I'd rather avoid so that the tick isn't happening. It's not any tiff or any beef. It's really just I don't want this awkward thing happening. It's like it's not being done intentionally and I'm trying to avoid it happening. My brain is getting better. It's not happening as much, but I don't think I can work out right next to you and the tick not happen. So I just got up and I went back to the other mirror that was by the Smith machine since he's now over in this area that I had just moved to. And so as soon as I walk over there, There's this old guy that off and on, he be pinching his nose, and just doing stuff like passive aggressive stuff, this older guy, and it's off and on too. It's not like he does it all the time. I see him in there all the time, off and on, right? And sometimes it's like he's in my area doing gang stalking stuff, and then sometimes he's not there. Today he was there, sitting there with dumbbells, and it's like he was trying to get my attention. As soon as I went over to the mirror to start doing my lunges, he's pinching his nose. I didn't even start doing the damn lunges yet, and I was so far away from the man. He's pinching his nose and grabbing his shirt and doing all this stuff, like trying to get my attention. So he's elderly, right? He's reached that cap where I'm not going to go in. Remember I told y'all there's a cap. And if you're in that cap, I'm not going in on you. It doesn't matter what you do, right? I might roll my eyes at most. I'm not going to go in on you if you're elderly. So I'm like, he's obviously trying to get my attention. I realized that. I'm going to ignore this. So I just continued. I did my lunges, right? And I ignored him. He kept doing it and looking at me too, like he was trying to get a reaction. I think it's because of what happened in the bakery. Like I told you, I've seen a few people since then trying to do it and look at me to test like if something's going to happen, and I'm not reacting. I refuse to react it because you caught me once. In the bakery, you're not going to catch me again. And I know too, now that I've said it in my videos, that it's something that really irks me. I know it's going to be done more. That's just how the targeting works. So I'm purposely not reacting to it. So anyway, he's doing it, and I just ignored him. I'm like, it's annoying enough. Like, I don't see you in this area all the time. You come here sometimes. You be in different areas. But it seems like you just sat here to be, like, do that annoying thing to try to get a reaction. That's when I get annoyed. Is if I feel like you're literally placing yourself around me just to irk me, to do things to get a reaction. That's where I start getting irritated. But I'm like, he's elderly. I'm a chill. It's cool. I'm in the gym. I don't want any problems. Let me just chill, right? Got through the lunges. I put the dumbbells up. I get over to the Smith machine now. I start doing my squats. I have, like I told y'all, a lot of squats to do on that machine. I do 50 on that machine. In total, I'm doing 100 squats every day. Weighted squats in the gym. 25 hack squats. 25 squats on the other machine where I'm going up to 320 pounds. And then on the Smith machine, I do the most squats. I do 50 squats with the barbell. I do 20 at 180 and I do 30 at 140. Right? So I'm really working hard in that gym. So I'm just ignoring him, right? I start doing my squats on the Smith machine. I knock out 5 of them. And as he keep doing the nose thing, I ignored him, right? This is where the pump his bitch starts coming out. I start walking and I start winding my hips. I can't help what starts happening. When I start noticing that they're doing the stupidness, and I know it's like you're trying to get under my skin, that's when I start moving this kind of cocky way. That's where it starts coming out. I can feel her coming. And when I say her, I'm the same person, but monster bitch, who they call. I'm not going to go in on you, you're elderly, but that's when I start moving this pompous kind of way, right? So I was walking regular the whole time when I did the first 5 squats, even after I did the lunges and he was doing what he was doing. But I noticed I'm continuously doing my squats now. At this point now, I knocked out 10. He's still doing it like he's trying to get my attention, staring at me in the mirror and pinching his nose. And so I finally, after the 10th rep, right, the second set of 5, the 10th rep, I got annoyed and I slammed, not super hard, but there's this thing that happens with me sometimes, like where I'm squatting and stuff with the barbell. If I'm getting annoyed and I'm trying not to have a reaction, I might put the weight down super hard. That's how you know I'm getting annoyed. I'm not going to say anything, right? But I might put the weight down super hard. So he did it again, and I got so annoyed, I put the weight down super hard, right? The barbell weight super hard in place after I finished my 10th rep, right? Or my second set. And as soon as I did that, I noticed that, this is to tell you, I think he's watching me wherever he's at in the gym. I think he'd be watching me on his phone. And I think a lot of them are doing that. But I don't want to bear false witness and then, I go back to the gym and it's more crazy. I told you, like, something could really be happening and then I say it in these videos and then it's done overtly now just to spite me. I'm just saying, like, I think me even just walking over to do my lunges in the other area rather than going on to Smith, I think might have triggered something. I'm not sure, right? Because the way he power walked in front of me and kind of cut me off, I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I don't want to bear false witness. That might have triggered something. I don't know. Then I went back over here, again, not trying to create problems, just trying to avoid problems and trying to avoid an awkward situation and this awkward tick. I go back over to the area where I left. There's this old man here pinching his nose and staring at me, trying to get a reaction. Ignoring him. But monster bitch is starting to surface. I'm starting to walk the cocky way and start to move that cocky way that starts happening when they're starting to antagonize me. I finished, like I said, the 10th rep, or second set. and I slammed down the weight a little bit, right? Because he kept pinching and staring at me, and it was just getting really annoying. I'm like, he's like, I'm ignoring you, I'm not reacting, you're still doing it. So I slammed the weight down a little bit. And after I slam it down, I see him flat. The Italian guy flew from the other side of the gym where he wouldn't naturally be able to see me. So he had to be watching me on his phone. He flew over and he stops in front of the bathroom and takes this big, huge sip from his water jug. Now, mind you, if you check out the part 2 impeding of the targeted individual's life, you'll hear me say that my angst with this tick is not just a race sensitization, but it's this false narrative. I just know how they are. And they've been painting this false narrative of thirst and me being thirsty because I'm working my body out. You know, it's so crazy. It's like they're getting angry at everything I'm doing and creating these false narratives to try to deter me from doing the things I'm doing and the things I've always loved. I've already proven I've been working out since back in my early 20s. Shit, since high school, elementary, I've been into athletics and fitness and sports and stuff. So this is nothing new for me. But really what motivated me to start working out again, like I said, was health, to get my health back. And then also to an added benefit was obviously the external, seeing my body getting built. And that was part of the motivation as well. I couldn't even see my muscle tone. I was so skinny last year. And they had the nerve to bully me about it. So that's not me being thirsty. That's gaslighting and crazy and delusional. Anyway, they're just doing it on purpose. I realize, like every other false narrative, they're just doing it on purpose to antagonize and bully me. I already realized what's going on. But anyway, I talked about the fact that that's also why I was anxious about this tick happening with him, because I just know how they are. And I know that's how they would try to paint it, like this false narrative of thirst and whatever else. And so like I said, some days, most days with him, he's decent about it. He doesn't really do too much gang stalking stuff. But then some days like today, he'll do like little passive aggressive things, being an asshole. And today was that kind of day. Like, it wasn't right away. The whole day he was cool. He was minding his business. He was training people left and right, up and down, doing his thing. I was doing my thing. He wasn't coming around me. And I'm not saying him coming around me was gang stalking. That's not what I'm saying. He really genuinely does bring that lady over there sometimes to train around the time when I'm on Smith. It was me going over there and him kind of cutting me off and like power walking in front of me. That could have been a coincidence. But then definitely this thing here where I slammed the barbell down now after my 10th rep. And he comes from the other side of the gym. I guess he was watching me on his phone. And he comes over and he stops in front of the bathroom. He takes a big gulp of the water jug. So I'm just like, what? You know, I don't know if he thought I was moving pompous because of him. Because I wasn't. You know, when he's in the proximity with me, yes, I'm focused on it because that's the tick that's happening. But once he moves out of sight, out of mind, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I can then focus on my workout. So at this point now I'm honed in on the workout and this elderly man that seemed to be trying to get this reaction out of me. And I'm trying to, cool myself and not have a reaction because he's elderly, right? But then I just got so annoyed. I did slam it down a little bit, the barbell. I think he was watching me on the other side of the gym because he comes over and cuts in front of me and he takes this big gulp of water in front of the bathroom and then goes into it was so obvious. It was that part, there's no denying. That was obvious gang stalking, that part there. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, I didn't do anything to you. And really and truly, I've been decent the whole day, trying to avoid awkward interactions, if anything. And now I'm having an angry reaction to this old guy pinching his nose every 5 seconds and staring at me. And I didn't say anything disrespectful either. I really just, the way I placed the barbell on the rack, I just placed it a little hard. That happens sometimes when I'm starting to get annoyed and I don't want to have a reaction. And that's what it was. And we did a big gulp of water, so I'm just like, what the heck? So of course I start squatting hard and I just continue doing my thing. But I thought it was funny, I did, and I started squatting hard, and then I sat down. Because the song I put on my playlist recently, I put it on like day before yesterday for Ari Lennox, and it's called, I think it's called Queen Thing. It's Ari Lennox and Summer Walker, where most of the song she's just talking about respect me, I'm a queen, but there's a certain part of the song where it gets a little bit, a little rowdy. I'm a grown woman. I'm 32, so I can listen to what I want. I already told you what they do with the music thing to make me uncomfortable. And I love Ari Lennox. And they sent me something with her the other day. That's how I really got back on her, because I used to have a bunch of her songs on my playlist. But unfortunately, a lot of her songs have sexual innuendos in it. And so if I play those songs now, they would be throwing water bottles at me. Although they listen to whatever they want to listen to. So I don't have certain people that I usually listen to on my playlist because of that reason. But in my newsfeed, they sent me Ari Lennox, and they were talking about her, like wanting to get out of her contract with Dreamville, with J. Cole, and I'm a big fan of J. Cole too. And basically what's going on is it's like they're not promoting her. Like, she's so talented. The girl can really sing, like real talent. like Erykah Badu type stuff. Like if y'all are familiar with Erykah Badu, Jill Scott type stuff. Like one of those unique voices that's just like damn, why isn't this bigger than what it is? And really it's just like lack of promotion. They're not promoting her with the album, and so she want with the record label, and so she wants to get out of that record label. And so she was even talking about new music that she put out that nobody knew about. And so I looked her up and I was like, new music? I said, let me look up, because, you know, I'm a big fan of my sister too. We used to have her songs all in college. Just in 2018, 2019, we used to be rocking her in the car and stuff. And so I looked her up and I saw she had this song called Smoke. And so I listened to it, and like me, she used to have issues with alcoholism. And you'll notice most artistic people do, because typically artistic people have neurodivergent minds. I'm not just saying, this is facts. You can look this up. Typically artistic people have neurodivergent minds. That's what makes us artistic. And so what comes along with that oftentimes is addiction. So anyway, she had alcoholism issues and she was in rehab like me. And so in the song, she's just singing about the fact that, you know, like when she was going through the rehab or whatever and she was recovering, she's just saying, try me, you know, like you gonna make me catch a case, try me, talking about, I guess, the things she was going through and people that were trying her. And she said, I might slap a bitch, you know, and she's not really gonna slap somebody. I wouldn't even really slap someone. They've been studying me long enough. If I were gonna slap somebody, I would have done it by now. But I did download the song because I was like, I can't download anything for her. Her songs all have sexual innuendos, and they literally saw me that day looking through her songs, and every song had stuff in it. And I was like, I can't put this on my playlist. They're going to call me thirsty or throw water bottles at me. And I saw that new song, Smoke, and it resonated in a way, not that I'm going to slap a bitch, but just that idea of being tried, constantly being tried. You know how it is when you're targeted, reactive abuse. And I was just like, oh my God, let me download this song. But then it's like, I realized I couldn't play it. I just felt like I was going to get retribution for it. It felt too problematic. And so I took it off my playlist and I said, let me see if I can find something else. I want at least one song for Ari Lennox on my playlist. And so I was looking through for songs and trying to find something that didn't sound too sexual. And that was when I came across the song Queen Tings or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the song is, but it's with her and Summer Walker. And I love Summer Walker too. And for most of the time, she's just talking about being a queen and stuff. But then at the end of the chorus, she's like, I might let you get a taste. Something like that in the song. That's the only sexual part of the song. Everything else is more so her just talking about queen things and being a queen. So I was like, I could put this on my playlist. Like, I'm a 32-year-old woman. I don't have any songs with sexual innuendos on my playlist. Most people do. I'm like, I can play this. I can put this on my thing. I like it too. It sounded really good too. So I put it on my playlist. And so that song happened to play when after he had already came and took the sip of water, and then that song came on right as he did that. So I'm like, oh my God, great. You know, because it's already like this thing, you know, that they're purposely painting to antagonize me. And so him doing that big sip of water was like to take a dab at me, and I don't even know what I did to the man today. I didn't do nothing to him today. I really was reacting to this elderly man that kept pinching his nose. So anyways, that song came on, and so I took 2 squats, and I put it up, and then I just stood there by the barbell to catch my breath. He walks out, and then he kind of like poses up right next to the Smith machine, and I purposely sat down. I'm like, I'm not going to squat to this song while he's standing here, and this is going on, you know? So I purposely sat down, and I'm just staring out the window, catching my breath, and then these 2 new girls that he's training now came in, right? Of course, it's race sensitization, because they're that race that I've offended. But it's not a problem. I've seen people of that race in the gym several times, not even attached to him. It's not an issue. I don't have an issue with that race. It's more so just awkward for me because of the stupid things I shared in my car in Florida. Race sensitization. I just get really uncomfortable, right? So they came in, I didn't actually feel uncomfortable. I was actually glad for the distraction. Because I'm like, okay, good. So now 2 people are coming. He's going to train. I can get back to focusing. That's what it felt like. Because it feels like when he doesn't have someone to train, then that's when I can feel like more so like a focus, and then it just feels awkward. That's where it feels awkward. But when people are there and he's training them, then it's just like, okay, like I feel like invisible again, and it's like, okay, it doesn't feel like this awkward thing. So anyways, right, so these 2 people come in, and then he starts, like, he's never done this before. He starts making the girl do like this little squat thing right in front of the mirror with me. So I'm squatting with the lady. And then she looks in the mirror while she's squatting with me. So we're squatting together. And we're both looking in the mirror. It was just so awkward. It really was. But then she got up and she moved out of the way, the line side of the Smith machine. And they were doing their thing over in the corner. And I was able to get back to doing my workout and finishing my squats. But then I noticed after that interaction happened, Then comes in this guy. I'm almost certain he's a gang stalker. I don't want to bear false witness, but I'm like 95% certain this guy is a gang stalker because I don't see him often. But whenever I do, it always seems to be on some gang stalking stuff. He always comes in with a half red, half black shirt, the same shirt. He doesn't look like somebody that works out. He's not overweight. He's not super skinny. He's just like average build, but it's just like, you could tell somebody that hits the weights or somebody that maybe is just starting out. He's looking like somebody that either is just starting out or you're gang stalking. Like, he doesn't look like he really works out like that. And he's always looking at me in this kind of way under his eyes. There was a time where, like I said, sometimes when I'm about to use the Smith, they know my routine by now. They're all watching me. They know when I'm about to hop on what machine I'm typically about to hop on next. There was a time when I was about to hop on that same Smith machine, and he's sitting there. He, like, literally, as soon as I finish my leg press, he sits down at that machine and he watches me in this kind of way. And so I knew it was he was wearing the same half red, half black shirt. So I just knew it was like I was likely gang stalking, right? So this awkward interaction happens with the Italian guy. All of a sudden, this guy walks in and goes in the bathroom. So I just ignored it, right? I was just like, yeah, I don't know if he's coming into gang stalk or not. He just walked in the bathroom. I'm like, I don't know what that is, right? I started doing my whatchamacallit. I started doing my dead presses, my deadlifts, excuse me, right? My ear started ringing. That's what made me mess up, y'all. They're doing the technology in my ear now. Anyway, I started doing my deadlifts, and I do 20 of those. I don't do too many of those because I go heavy with it, and my lower back hurts me. So I try not to do, because I had a strain happen like about a month and a half ago. I went a little bit too heavy with the RDLs, and I was doing 160-pound RDLs, and you don't have to go that heavy with that, especially as a female. And so I strained my back a little bit. And so all now it's still strained, and I'm still feeling lower back pain off and on as I work out. So with the deadlifts, I don't do too many of those. I do 20. So I do 10 RDLs. Well, I do 10 RDLs and 10 deadlifts. It's all deadlifts. The RDL is the Romanian deadlift, and then the deadlift is without the Romanian. Anyway, so I do 10 RDLs at 90 pounds. I do 5 DLs, deadlifts, at 180 pounds, 3 deadlifts at 230 pounds, and then I do 2 deadlifts at 250 pounds. So I'm lifting real heavy weight. And so I just start doing that, and they oftentimes do gang stalking when I do the deadlifts. I told y'all about that in recent videos, how, the other day when I went to the gym, they sent this guy in a white tuxedo to go in the bathroom while I'm doing the deadlifts. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I didn't understand the craziness. It's just madness to me. Some of the stuff they're doing, I don't understand why it's being done. That's all I'm saying. I don't understand why. I'm not doing anything. I'm just minding my business and working out. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going around saying offensive stuff. I'm not slapping people in the face. I don't know what the issue is. Anyway, so I was doing my deadlifts, and I was getting through it. And as soon as I finished, I did my last 2 deadlifts, the 250-pound deadlifts. It's real heavy. I as soon as I finish that last deadlift, do you know the dude in the half red, half black shirt comes out the bathroom? And he's, again, looking at me in that weird way with his eyes. So I'm just, it's just so irritating to me. It just irked me. I was like, I'm making a video about this. I was like, I gotta make a video because it was just too much. It was just that stuff there that happened. I'm like, I didn't understand it. And then him coming in the bathroom. And then also, too, I saw another dude that I've never seen in the gym before, and I recognize his face. I told y'all I have good memory. I'm like an elephant. I don't even have to know you like that. And I can recognize your face from around the way and just know, right? And I recognize this dude's face, like, from being somebody that's in the military. Like, I see faces all the time, and I have good memory, and it's a small circle of people and mutual friends and all this type of stuff like that. I don't know the dude's name. I think I might know it. I don't know. But I know his face for sure. He came in. I'd never seen him before in the gym. So he came in around the time this thing is happening, too. And so I said, military? I said, what is going on today? I'm like, what did I do? I didn't do anything today. Everything was cool the whole session. The whole gym session, everything was cool. And then we get to this moment here. I simply took the dumbbells and went over to the other mirror to do my lunges because I just didn't want my brain to start ticking, and I remembered I had forgotten to do them. Like I said, so the guy power walking down this way, he can't even cut off my path. He was walking so fast. So I was like, okay. So I was just like, let me head back over this way because I don't want the brain tick to happen. And now he's over here, and she's on the treadmill. So I'm like, let me get back over here to this other part by the Smith machine. I'm doing the lunges. The elderly man is trying to get a reaction. Trying to get the reaction. I ignore him. Like I told you, I get on the Smith machine. I start doing my stuff. He keeps doing it. I finally get annoyed enough that I put the barbell, not even super hard. It's like I slammed it down super hard, like, whoa, like to shake the building. It wasn't that type of party. But I did put it down a little hard. Like, you could tell I was getting irritated. Then he comes over, you know, the Italian guy. So obviously, again, he was watching me from wherever. And before he goes in the bathroom, he just stops and takes a big gulp of water. It was just like too much. And I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand what I did because things were cool the whole time until that moment there. And I was just like, what is happening here? You know, it's just like, I was like, am I going to make a video about this? And part of me just felt like it's stupid. Who cares? No. But then it's like the guy going in the bathroom and coming out and then the military guy. I was just like, okay, nah, I'm making a video about this. I'm going to talk about this. And then I leave the gym and I get over to the bus stop, right, to catch the bus. They're worked up in the road. They weren't really doing too much actually, but it was as soon as I put on my YouTube, and they always do this when I get out the gym. As soon as I start putting on YouTube videos, they start revving and doing stupidness. They sent me a video about caffeine, about how caffeine improves your performance in the gym. Duh. Most athletic people know that, or weightlifters. Why do you think they have something called pre-workout? Pre-workout is a high concentrated version of caffeine, way higher than coffee or Red Bull. I don't take those things. I'm a natural bodybuilder, right? I drink coffee or Red Bull sometimes. I kind of cut off the Red Bull thing. It's not good for you. But coffee, and I don't even drink that much. I took 2 sips. I still have the full cup of coffee in the freezer right now. I take a couple sips, and even if I drank the whole thing, it's not like the caffeine is doing the workout for me. I'm doing the workout. You think you could just drink caffeine like a magic potion, and you're going to go in the gym and turn into Superwoman or Superman? You still have to put the work in. The caffeine just gives you energy. And I need it because I work the night shift. I work the night shift, and then I'm coming straight in the morning and doing all this crazy stuff in the gym. So I need some sort of pick-me-up. So anyways, they start revving by like crazy as soon as the video starts. When he said it improves athletic performance, they start speeding by and doing all this craziness and revving by. I'm like, what? I said, so are y'all trying to say the caffeine is giving me like superpowers? Like, what are you saying? You think the caffeine's lifting the weight for me? It's just giving me energy. And I didn't even drink that much. And I haven't been doing that the whole year either. I just started doing that like within the last month, since I've been doing this morning shift workout. So I was just like, what the heck? And they just kept rubbing by for crazy stuff. I'm just like, what is going on? This is what I be talking about. And then if I act cocky, they're going to say I'm being a narcissist. It's just like craziness to me, man. Anyway, I just had to document the thing, man. I had to talk about it. Just like, it's like a lot of craziness. I can't make sense from the nonsense. I think they keep hinting it to me that I need to be humbled and that I'm some cocky showboat. And again, that's gaslighting. It's reactive abuse, because I wouldn't be acting like this if they weren't doing half of the stuff they're doing. Anyways, that's it. That's all I have to say, y'all. That's all I wanted to talk about, man. It's no beef with anybody in that gym, really. Even the old man that was trying to get my attention and doing all the pinching and stuff. It's just, you know, this stuff is happening. It's not consistent, and they're really not that bad in the gym. It could be worse. But stuff is happening, and then, you know, gaslighting and people coming in and, you know, adding to what's already happening. That makes me want to talk about it. Especially if I feel like I'm avoiding conflict or I'm avoiding awkwardness, and then I'm still like getting beat down. Like, what? I can't win. Anyway, I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace out. Yeah, just quick add-on to the video. I actually finished the video. If you just heard it, you heard the whole video. This is the last part. This is a last-minute add-on. Uploaded the video and everything, y'all. And then I woke up for work. I didn't get much sleep. I got like an hour and a half of sleep. And someone in my close circle made a comment that bothered me. And I just wanted to add that to the video. I just wanted to add this piece to the video. So I literally took the video down off of YouTube just so I could add this part on. I woke up, and I told you all already in the prior clips, they were humming on me like crazy using the Havana syndrome, or whatever the energy weapon is called. It's when you feel the syndrome from that sort of energy weapon where your ears are ringing and your head is throbbing and you're feeling nauseous. That's typically called Havana syndrome. But I don't know exactly what type of energy weapon they're using or what the name of it is. But I told you they use it on me off and on. They've been doing it since last year. And that's the main form of physical torture that I experienced in this targeting. Like I told you all, I do strongly suspect I dealt with microwave energy weapons at the beginning of last year, and it caused a lot of weight loss and, you know, me feeling really sick and stuff. But they don't use harsh energy weapons like that on me anymore. It's mainly just the Havana syndrome energy weapon. But it still does have a physical effect on me. I've told you, I've documented several videos about what it can do. I even have a video titled Havana Syndrome, because there are off and on periods where they use it a lot on me. And then there are moments where they just, use it, like if I'm making a video and they're annoyed, they'll use it on me that day. That type of thing, off and on. But there have been periods, like I said, like a month or two, where they're just straight up like using it on me like all day long. Like it's really bad too. It's horrible. It causes bad headache, nausea, like I said, swallowing difficulty, etc. So it's not harmless. It does have physical effects. But usually they don't hit me that hard with it. But tonight they were hitting me so hard with it just because I was able to knock down the false narratives. It's just like so unfair. It's like you speak and you knock down some of these false narratives, and then you have to deal with physical energy attacks, and it's intangible forms of torture. These are no touch, not to use that word, but that's literally what it is. No touch. And if you've been following me, you know why I said that. Touch is one of the words they've sensitized me to in my targeting out of spite. But it's no touch, no contact torture is what it is. Anyway, so my head was spinning, y'all, and I was feeling nauseous and everything by the time I was finished making those video clips, and I could not get to sleep. And I needed to rest. Remember, I told you I have been working a lot of hours recently with my job, my security job, and I'm not complaining. My check has looked really good. I'm so grateful. So I'm not complaining about the hours. I'm so grateful for them. But I am working a lot of hours now. And then I already showed y'all in the earlier clips the type of workouts I'm doing in the gym. So I'm always tired. I'm exhausted. And sometimes on some days I have trouble getting sleep, especially days when they utilize the Havana Syndrome thing on me. So they were hitting me hard with it. They haven't hit me that hard with the thing since last year. They've hit me off and on with the thing, but they haven't hit me that hard to the point where nausea was induced and a headache. They haven't done it that hard in a long time. Like, they were getting so mad that I was just able to defend the false narratives, man. Look, I see a gang stalker up there walking with a backpack. Like, this is craziness. It's just the amount of resources that these people are using on me. Someone who hasn't committed a crime, never gotten in trouble in my life. It's just bonkers to me. Anyway, so now they have this gang stalker walking outside of the gate with a backpack on. Anyways, y'all, let me hurry up and finish this clip because the video already came out to be way too long. I didn't want it to be like a 2-hour and change video. Anyway, so I was just feeling tired and just, I finally did get to sleep, but I only got like an hour and a half of sleep. And so I woke up feeling groggy and ucky. It changes your mood too. I've shown y'all the diagram from DARPA about this technology and how it has the ability to change mood as well. So I just woke up feeling gnarly, man. My stomach is still kind of turning right now, to be honest with you. I feel a lot better than earlier, but my stomach is still kind of turning right now. And my head is still hurting a little bit. And I woke up in a funky mood. I'm tired, and then also too, there's the element of just awkwardness. I can always feel them staring at me. I always act awkward when I go in the kitchen, especially when people are up and around and about. I always act awkward. I always get the awkward look at my face and my eyes. This is why I wear the big black shades at work. I've said this already. So that when I'm watching my shows, I don't feel as uncomfortable. But I don't do that in the house. I'm not going to lay in bed all day long wearing big black shades so that I can feel comfortable watching shows because they're staring at me like a freak show. I'm not doing it. But typically after I make a video, I really get the awkward look in my face and my eyes when I have to get out and do stuff in the kitchen because I feel awkward. I know I made a video. I know everyone in the house is watching as well as everyone on the island. And so I do wake up feeling kind of awkward typically after making a video. I do get that awkward look in my face if I have to get out and do stuff. And then on top of things, like I said, I was just feeling about, not getting rest and being hit so hard with the Havana Syndrome. So I did have like somewhat of an awkward, I felt like this awkward look in my face and my eyes. I can't do anything about it. You're staring at me like a freaking animal. I'm a human. And so it's going to happen. And so I'm in the kitchen putting my stuff together. And when I went in there, someone in my close circle was in the fridge putting stuff up. And I had the weird look in my eyes. I could feel it. I just felt awkward and uncomfortable. And my head is spinning too at the moment. And at that moment it was spinning. And I had just woken up. And so she went in her room and got dressed and came back out and she sat on the couch and I guess she was watching something, but I could feel her watching me. I know they're always watching me. Even when they're supposedly watching stuff, I know they're watching me. So while I'm putting the stuff together, she's speaking to someone else in my close circle that was in the kitchen. He was also getting ready for work. We both have work. And she was talking about some guy in some video she was watching, and she said, no, some of these guys, like, you could just see their eyes. There's no emotion. It's just something about their eyes. Something about their eyes. And all then while she's saying that, I'm having the awkward look happening. I'm like, why would you do that? You know what's going on, you know? Not to cause, because things have been good between she and I in these last couple of days, you know, and she even, you know, was nicer to me earlier, like bought me, when I forgot my money home, you know, let me 20, I'm paying her back. I paid her back tonight. But, you know, it's been cool these last few days, but it's just like comments like that where I'm already feeling, you know, awkward and like an animal on display. And then you say that type of comment, you know, I can hear you. Like, that's just, you know. So anyways, I just felt like I'm exhausted, man. I'm tired of this. I just want my privacy back. I want my life back. I'm tired of this shit. And I wanted to add this to the video. It just, that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't mean it in like I'm trying to create problems with her or anything, because she didn't say it in a nasty way or anything like that. But it's just like, come on, man. I'm like an animal on display. Stop staring at me, and then I won't have the weird look in my eyes. I'll be like a normal human if you treat me like one. Anyway, so that's what it is, y'all. That's what this is. I just wanted to add this to the video. That really bothered me. I wanted to add this to the video. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out.